Welcome back, everybody. 2026, and the Gringos are more Liberados than we've ever been. And that's because the CBLOL is back. They have given us back
Let's
the
go!
CBLOL English.
Thank you.
LTA South is gone. We talked about that. Yeah, it's dead, man. We talked about that a little bit in the last episode because we knew it would happen, but now it's officially the branding has switched. No one will literally ever speak of it again, guaranteed. So let's all just move on. My name is Trajan, and we have a bumper 4-stack episode here to kick us off. We've got RMC, 4i4, and Super Bren on the mic here to talk about 2026, and we have so much actually to cover that we are gonna do a tier list, so don't fear, because there will be a tier list coming out of this.
There will.
But we're not gonna rank like everything in every possible way like we sometimes do with power rankings, because we've got formats, we've got seasons, we've got events, and we've got, YouTube drama, and we've got real drama, to talk about. So there's all sorts to go through here. But I guess let's just go around quickly first. RMC, longest off season of all time. Have you been doing anything other than playing Riftbound?
No.
That's a no. Okay, well, that's like all of the people I used to play League with are now cardboard gamers.
Yep.
And it's cringe, but also
Shiny
not at all.
cardboard, man.
They're also seeing each other in person, and you got to respect that. I'm certainly not. So,
I mean, I'm still doing it online. I'm casting some of the online tournaments still, so I'm not seeing people in person. I haven't given up my, gamer status, my online gamer status.
that's fair. Now, when I joined this call, you were actually already also talking about Riftbound, and now
I was
as like a sports fan. Surely it's too nerdy for you to care about Riftbound.
Oh. No, dude. Well, I mean, because the thing is, all of my best friends from the boys I still hang out with are my boys from high school, and a few of them are like really autistic about Magic the Gathering. So it was a natural kind of sliding scale. Who amongst us exactly? So now my friends are those friends are equal parts pissed off and happy that I am now into cardboard gaming. But some of them choose to be more pissed off. It's like, why weren't you into this in Magic? It's like, can you just shut up and be happy?
Yeah.
You should just be happy.
They're bridging the divide as we speak. Can we let that happen? Can we allow the bridge to go?
Or are we gonna stay angry and just compare every single mechanic and why Magic is better and just soak all the fun out of playing Riftbound because there's a superior game elsewhere? But I don't know. I digest.
Just throw shiny cardboard at them. Riftbound shiny. Take those numbers and chuck them.
I have some shots to shoot at the Magic community.
But we did have big sports news. The greatest soccer club of all time, Sporting Clube Corinthians Paulista, Copa do Brasil champions, which is fantastic news for all involved, and even for Flamengo fans because we beat Vasco in the final and they hate each other, so that's good.
So we
I went down to the motherland for exactly. I went down to the motherland for New Year's and it was wonderful. I love being back in Brazil.
Yeah, once again, divides bridged by cardboard, by sports, it's all happening here.
Oh, and I got cutting edge for so that means I got cutting edge on all 3 rates this year in World of Warcraft. So it's been a very successful.
Just to drop some actual real gamer cred in the call to make sure everybody knows, and that's fair enough. Now, Bren, I'm not going to ask you why Magic is a superior game because this is already going to be like a 2-hour podcast, and there's nothing I can do about that. So let's not make it a 3-hour podcast.
What I was gonna say about the Magic fans is they're lucky. They're just lucky that like League got Riftbound and got its own card game, because what Magic fans have been complaining about forever is the Universes Beyond sets, where they take other IPs and make Magic sets about them.
They were waiting for the League of Legends.
And it was inevitable that we were going to get a League of Legends set. But now we have League of Legends card games, so they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about becoming literally Fortnite, I guess.
Enjoy your Spider-Man set, which is genuinely the worst set ever printed.
I've heard not great things about that one.
Yeah. Me neither. All of my friends just enjoy the FF14 stuff because we're already knee deep in that one. So, okay, right. Let's talk about some CBLOL. Now, we have a fair few things to touch on here. We're going to talk about the season. We're going to talk about the format. We're going to talk about the teams. We're going to talk about the America's Cup. We're going to talk about some of the rosters and some of the problems some of these rosters are having. But one thing I wanted to touch on first, which I thought was very interesting, which was the SeeEl update stream. VKS are championship titles ascendant in 2025. They finally made it. A year ahead of schedule, I believe, in the 5-year plan. In the original 5-year plan, which was year 3, which then got which then got kind of accelerated to year 2 when it was looking quite good, and he got kind of bullied by the fans into saying it would be year 2, and then it paid off. So excellent.
No, nobody bullied SeeEl. SeeEl just decides to up the ante every time.
I'm sure SeeEl would say he was pushed into it, so I'll represent his interest here. But there were some very interesting tidbits about that. Of course, the updates and the kind of KPIs that they're tracking are very they're very detailed, which is very interesting to see. Anyone who didn't see it, there is a VOD on his Kick channel, so I would go and check it out if you're interested, because it is very interesting. But one of the interesting things that I saw in this, one of the things that I saw that was very interesting was they were talking about players that VKS had considered for various positions. And the first one that I wanted to mention was Fu, who we had all given up potentially. I'm worried that Fu was washed, Fu was gone, Fu had been killed by the CBLOL and Fluxu or whatever, and the light had gone out of his eyes. And that seemed kind of true, but VKS SeeEl was very much still considering Fu as a very hot prospect. I believe he was second in line for their Academy mid laner considerations. And that's pretty high praise coming from the all-time, all-Academy championship winning team VKS last year, who clearly take that very seriously, and that they still think Fu's got the sauce. So we don't have to pour one out for Fu anymore. SeeEl says he's got the sauce. So it's all good.
For my sports fans, watching Fu on that Fluxu roster, it was like watching the CJ Stroud, the Texans quarterback, just play with like absolutely zero offensive line, just without an offense. Sometimes there's a running game. There's like a receiver they found on like the corner last week because Nico Collins is injured. And you're just praying that the defense is good, and in League of Legends we don't have a defense, so like it's just Fluxu and the offensive line, and it's just every time I felt so bad for Fu, because every week I'd come on and be like, guys, on the broadcast, I think Fu is so good, I think he's gonna do it this way, and then we did not get it.
Oh, where's he gone though? Where?
Should be a good Academy reset though for him. So like I think that was never, I think everyone on this podcast, like we were bemoaning maybe like the death of Fu, but I don't think anyone was ever like, oh, Fu is definitively washed, it's over, it's cooked. I think we were just,
he was not the
like
problem.
Fu might just be like washed out of CBLOL by this happening, as opposed to Fu cannot like he's gonna become so depressed that he just leaves.
Exactly.
I can't remember. What was he? Our Elo? Was he the Ninja Kiwi?
Did he get?
Did we give it to him?
I don't know if we did.
I don't know if we gave it to him
because
we might have like renamed the award.
To be fair, started being pretty mid to bad by the end of it, but we didn't really blame him for that because the team was
we gave our Ninja Kiwi award to Jose Diodo.
Oh yeah,
okay.
That's fair.
Yeah,
and now he's on Team Liquid, so I guess hopefully that shouldn't happen to him again this year. God. Maybe
in an LCS podcast.
Maybe.
That's some takes.
Okay, right. So Fu potentially still has the sauce, and hopefully he can revitalize himself in the Academy.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was another guy that he was talking about. Someone asked him about Margot, who is now on Loud.
Oh yeah,
Loud, just Loud, not even Loud Academy. Who had a kind of fairly underwhelming debut on Red, looked a little bit undercooked, like coming into Red, like this guy still needs time, went back down to Academy and was having some more time. Comes back onto this sort of rebuilding Loud, and I think SeeEl basically echoed the opinions that we had, was that like, yeah, he's got potential, but like he's not ready. Like he was not ready then, and it doesn't feel like he's ready now. We'll see if he is on this Loud, or
we'll find out.
We'll see what happens on this Loud roster. But we'll get to it on the roster on the tier list. But the Loud one is pretty weird. It's that I feel like the variability of that roster is maybe the widest of any of them. But Margot is still keep being considered and put down, I suppose. And SeeEl also talked about the total of 12 hours of interviewing that he went through with Kaiwing to convince him to come to Brazil. Which is fair enough, because Kaiwing is a top 8 at World Support, and nobody expected him to come to Brazil. So
that signing, I was just sat there because I was like, oh man, poor CFO, like all their players are getting poached by like big leagues, and that must suck. And then they signed Kaiwing, and I was like, yes, we're poaching CFO players. Let's go.
So
like, I remember when we got like Diamond Procs, and like everybody was like, "Oh," you know. And then I remember like when we got Coach Stardust, and everybody's like, "Oh." But I'm gonna be honest, I think Kaiwing blows them all out the water.
In terms of magnitude of signing, for sure. I mean, no, and like
he was top 8 at Worlds like 2-3 months ago. He was just top 8 at Worlds. It's not like Diamond Procs, who was at Moscow 5 and good in season 2. Like, you know, like there's a recency here.
No, this should be. And again, you gotta just keep adding. Love him or hate him, you got to keep adding accolades to the SeeEl belt because he is putting in. It's like I saw a tweet. You guys know the show Heated Rivalry, or have you heard of it,
bro?
My mom watches that show.
The gay hockey show. Yeah,
it is my wife is about to get into it because all of her fanfic and writer friends are getting deeper and deeper into it.
Well,
and
if that's the bend, then those fanfic friends are going to absolutely fucking love it, because it watches like we're 4 episodes in, my wife and I, and it is so gay. It is so horny.
Yeah.
It is very good. It is very touching and very sweet.
It's a good show.
There's a group
episodes 3 and 4
of those writers that now have started going to the local Glasgow Clan hockey games just to watch ice hockey because they want to imagine them being gay to each other, I guess, or like whatever.
So it's hockey, it's gay, and it's good. Is this like written by a Canadian or something?
It's kind of peak. That's the thing.
It seems like it might be peak. We have to.
No, it's gas. I'm not gonna guess. It is especially like episodes 1 and 2 are very light on plot and very not light on everything else.
Yeah.
But episodes 3 and 4 are they get it gets in the feels. I think those are like where the real meat of the show is. But I say that to say, because I saw a tweet the other day which read, "Gay sex is doing more to grow the sport of hockey than the NHL ever has." And it feels like you could substitute gay sex with SeeEl and then NHL.
Okay,
this is such a long road to take to this comparison.
Yes, but the metaphor is great.
So
SeeEl has done more to grow Brazilian League of Legends than the CBLOL ever
certainly
has.
Works for Mr. Sexo himself, SeeEl.
Mr. Sexo,
I thought we were going for
Mr. Sexo.
Yes. Okay, we got it. Excellent.
I remember trying to explain that meme to some of my like American friends. Like, no, he's Rido Sexo. He's the king of sex. What do you not get?
Yeah, what do you not understand about that?
I'm looking at him, and that's not true.
You just wouldn't get it, I guess. Like, so
yeah, you got to be Kaiwing or Trimby, and then you get it.
Yeah, but like, what a fantastic turnaround from SeeEl and the scouting force of VKS from the. The level of we're so backness from the Kaiwing announcement was absolutely phenomenal when Trimby went back to the LCS. LEC, sorry. So that was pretty sick. He talked a little bit about the justification of bringing Boero on as the Academy AD carry. Definitely the one of, if not maybe the roster decision that's gotten SeeEl the most like confused faces of all time, because everyone's like, isn't this guy 10,000 years old and bad? And he does talk about on the stream about how, yes, he's 10,000 years old and he thinks that ageism is unfair in esports for a variety of reasons, but actually thinks that there is a real quality AD carry who does what I think it kind of came down to. He's the kind of AD carry that SeeEl wants, which is an AD carry that shuts up and clicks. He does not want a double lift who is leading from the ADC role and then running it down in Worlds group stage. Like, he wants an AD carry who is quiet and right clicks all the time, gets all the clicks off you can get in the fight, does a lot of damage. And that seems like kind of what Mortius is. Mortius seems like a pretty quiet element of VKS and is doing very well. But that was kind of just justification there. It wasn't like, oh, he's, a veteran smart at the game. He does not believe that. So we'll see how Boero of the many clicks does. But it certainly seems like RMC, you're still a little... we'll perhaps wait and see.
You wanted that
on that one.
Just grab Root, grab B-Boy,
Well, Root was grabbed by the military, I fear. So, and B-Boy was grabbed
back when
by Shopify, who probably can pay more.
If you can get Kai Wing from CFO, you can get B-Boy.
That's probably true, is if you can get Kai
Actually,
Wing
maybe not.
from-
Finalista is still up there. So,
this is the academy, right? Are we bringing B-Boy back to
B-Boy's
CBLOL to play an
nah.
academy?
Yeah,
I
B-Boy probably
think
wouldn't do that.
Morteus is doing fine on the main roster. So
that's true. Yeah.
And there was some like questions about like Doodoo and Skuro and all these other people, but where was the choice? So we'll have to see how that pans
I think
out.
we should always call Dada Doodoo.
Is it like, because I feel like I've only heard people call him Doodoo, but like
I call him Doodoo. That's my fault.
But does like the Brazilian Portuguese broadcast call him Dada, or do they call him Doodoo?
I think they call him Dada.
Yeah, it's more Dada. I just tend to mispronounce it.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, the jokes are all there. So I'm not going to tell you.
The first time I saw Dada, he was kind of doo-doo. He got a lot better last year. But
yeah, because he was like one of the hottest academy carries by the end of the year, as far as I can
last
tell.
year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We shall see.
I think when we first saw him, wasn't it in where did we first see Dada? Because I feel like hold on, let me check this. It's bugging me.
No, was that always Skuro?
I've seen him before. This
when in doubt, Skuro is the Kaboom 80 carry.
Yeah.
Academy 2024. No,
it's usually Skuro.
I can't remember where I've seen him, but I think he subbed in for someone. And oh no, he played on Lost Academy in 2024 split too with Konseki and Jota Mise, Nero and Tavares. That mid thing, yeah, that was a bad split. I thought the only good players in that roster that split was Konseki and Jota Mise.
Yeah, that was back when we thought Lost was going to be relegated to tier 2 forever and we'd never see them again, and yet they're back in tier 1. So
yeah,
you know,
my death were
okay, fair enough.
exaggerated.
And like there was the chat from Bayano when everyone was like, why CBLOL? And he was like, I don't want to. I can't do a good job. I don't have the resources and the money to do CBLOL properly. We will just get absolutely... He didn't feel like he could build a team that would compete properly. So everyone was like, you should do CBLOL. He was like, no, thank you. I will stay in CD.
I kind of... You have to respect that to be like, hey, this is not the arena I'm built for. It's not what I want to do.
The problem, though, was that their roster was literally a CBLOL roster, right? It was Hirit, Wiz...
Well, it was
House, then
a roster.
Oh no, Greptar switched in.
It was a roster of players who have played in the CBLOL. That is certainly true. Did they win Academy?
No, that was the problem. I think.
Was it a CBLOL roster?
Does anyone think that they would have top 4 CBLOL last split?
I don't think they would have been last. I'll put it
that way. No,
that's
Fluxy would have still been last, to be clear. They probably would have beaten Leviathan, I guess, and come like 5th.
That's more of an admonishment of Fluxu than it is a compliment to Bayano's team.
Both things are true.
Very true.
So
I feel like Bayano, the subtext perhaps is he doesn't want to just be in the CBLOL to be in the CBLOL. He wants to join the CBLOL and then conquer the CBLOL and become the CBLOL and sort of become the world eater, I guess. And that's, I think, probably what he probably wants
forever
to
and ever, amen.
Yeah, exactly. So, and at some point, I think he probably will become the world eater. But like, he probably will win CBLOL at some point before then. And we'll have to see.
He's got to get past the Tiger King first.
Yeah, yes, and he has to get past SeeEl of the 5-year plan. The last bit I wanted to share from SeeEl's stream, and again, I recommend any viewer go and watch it because it is very interesting if you care about the CBLOL and the current champions, is that the consideration for SeeEl is that they should win everything, as in everything in Brazil this year, or it's a failure.
Everything in Brazil includes a tournament. I with all due respect, still don't think the CBLOL teams have a snowball's chance in hell of winning in first stand. It is the tournament. I think of the internationals, maybe they can win it because just anything could happen so early in the year. But
it just means everything, as in like domestically. Even though first stand is in Brazil, you are correct. It is technically literally in Brazil. I believe he means in the CBLOL ecosystem. Which, given they won all the academy splits and came 2 finals and 1 championship last time, and the only thing they've done is swapped out their sort of
support.
top 8 LEC support peak for a top 8 CFO PCS support peak. Seems reasonable to me. I don't know. So we shall see how they gel with Kaiwing, I guess, which is probably going to be the main question.
But I just feel like this is typical SeeEl, right? Like every time he just like tries to up the ante and like stress himself even more. Like last year when he was like, "Oh, we're definitely going to win one thing." Like he did it, but I'm not going to lie, it looked really sketchy right up to the last second.
Yeah, but I respect. He started with year 3 is when we're going to do it, and then he upped the ante in year 2, and then was right. So so far. Sure. I'm down for him to say whatever he wants at this point until it stops happening.
I'm down for the cinema, so I'm happy with him saying something like that because it's funny and interesting.
Cinema in the CBLOL.
Yep. So. Well, not always, as we'll talk about later. There's some cinema which.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Listen, that's. Okay. No, right. Let's talk about the format first. New season. We'll keep it broad scope first. New season. We are not going to do an in-depth dive into the new season mechanics. Better and more YouTube monetized minds than us will do that for you. And talking about the role quests, the items, all of this. I think generally speaking, the role quest seems to have been the biggest sticking point in that it does seem to limit the ways, in its current form, limits the ways that you can play the game. And weirdly incentivizes certain strategies in a very weird way. So because I am like NLC region and I've been watching the Baus win every NLC split last year, they managed to make proxying completely broken, as opposed to just broken when the Baus and some other select people does it. Now they made him unbeatable. So they're probably going to have to fix some stuff, and I think we're going to see some significant changes. Mid laners are mad that they're landlocked in mid lane the whole time. Bot laners aren't really mad, I think, that they're landlocked in bot lane the whole time, because that's what they wanted to do the whole time. And junglers are really mad that they're not 1v9ing every single game anymore. That's my opinion. So
junglers are mad because their role quest is already pretty good.
Yeah, because they didn't get anything shiny, and they're not as broken as they were. So, I don't know. Cry about it, is my opinion for junglers. But RMC... thoughts on the brief thoughts on the role quest. I'd say we're not going to break them all the way down, but what's a kind of a quick sense check from you on the start?
I do think there are very specific players who are going to benefit. Like you talk about Baus in the NLC. We've got Baus in Brazil, not really. Kind of bigger actually, because Robo is really going to enjoy this, right? Like boy's been trying to, the champ's been trying to proxy for like forever. He always split pushes anyway, so that feels like it's really good for him. The bot changes, I think, are actually going to be kind of huge as well, just because AD carry is such a strong role in Brazil. It's going to break a lot of things. And then the mid lane landlock one is the one I'm actually really interesting. I find very interesting because our mid pool has been kind of weak, but with players like Kaze coming in, like I wonder if he's just if that actually makes it better for players like Kaze who can just crush a lane, or like Fu, may he rest in peace in CD, but like they could potentially just snowball so heavily that they take over. Or does it mean that they're actually kind of screwed because now they win the 1v1, but you're playing against mid laners who know how to lose gracefully, like Tinons, who's back, and then now you can't actually affect the other lanes quite as easily. Like that's the one that I'm really keeping an eye on in Brazil, because I already feel like mid has been such a unbalanced role, I guess, like where good mids have disproportionate effect based on just our lack of talent.
Yeah, I'm excited to never see Talia again. That's what I hope. Until they fix it, and then you can play Talia again, because obviously, but I think that players like Kaze and maybe even House, who are just like in their heyday, just put up massive numbers in mid, look really unbeatable in the 1v1, and can play like a Victor and a Azir and just kind of happily scale up really comfortably there. That seems like it's going to favor them, but to again kind of invoke the LEC, the sort of more APA style players who get a bit trickier, do a bit more roaming, do a bit more like non-standard laning. It feels kind of grim for them, and until Riot gives them a way to be valuable again, and that kind of hurts. So I don't know. 404, do you think that our mid lane pool is going to adapt to this change particularly well? Especially because we do, as you say, we do have Tinons back, and we do have maybe someone who could, if this would work for, I suppose, as opposed to against.
Yeah, I think. Jesus, sorry.
He choked.
My real answer is my real answer is I don't know, honestly, because I think it's almost like to if we're projecting out kind of broad scopes, I think to the point that some of y'all have made, they have to fix some shit because like there will be stuff that is worked out, and like I think we'll see kind of Riot's design philosophy on like, okay, what do they want competitive to look like versus what do they want casual play to look like, because they have delineated that like explicitly that like, hey, there are some things that we want to be good for competitive, but then we want some things to not appear competitive and just be a thing in casual. I think that's impossible to do. That is like, for me, that's like the golden goose of game design for a game like League of Legends. I guess this is a step in that direction. And look, and in 2027, apparently we're going to be getting, people are calling it League of Legends 2. So the big changes are going to be in 2027. That's not inside info, by the way. They said that. That's public information. But yeah, I don't know, man. I almost like don't even want to think about it because it's like, okay, it's going to be a thing for like the first 2 weeks and then we're going to patch it and then it's going to be some other bullshit that they need to figure out. You know what I mean?
I think they are going to have pretty significant changes to how the quests work because
they have to.
I think people do find it definitely too restrictive right now, and I think they will unclasp it just a little bit. Like I think the individual identity,
having the quests dictate how you play the game feels so antithetical to like, because we've decided as a League of Legends community, we are okay with certain things deciding, no, this is the best way to play the game. Mm-hmm. Having the quests be that thing feels really gross.
I like the rewards of the quests. I like the
100%.
this.
I like that you have this little,
but the way you
have
get
this
there
little mini game and you get a prize. 100%. Yes,
the prize is cool. Yes. I think it does give them more unique things. But Bran, how do you feel about this?
Yeah.
This shit.
You have a little side quest. It's fun.
Yeah.
I think there definitely are some major changes that like we talked about proxying, where you can't go behind your own tower in top lane, but the other team can. Seems a little goofy.
Yeah.
There are some small changes and tweaks that need to get made, but I don't think, as maybe some people are suggesting, that it needs to be a massive overhaul. You see this a lot in games where format changes entirely dictate the meta. For my experience, like the games that I am like knowledgeable enough to speak on, that's something like Pokemon, right? Where they don't really make constant balance tweaks. They just put it out there and you figure it out. There's thousands of players at a tournament. The meta is what it is. Figure it out and adapt. And they did like a format where they did this format where they only gave one restricted Pokemon. Normally, when there's like a restricted format that lets you use the big box legendaries and all the cool guys, you normally get to use two, and they only let you use one for this one format. And people thought it was going to be like complete rock, paper, scissors. You entirely win or lose based off if the matchup is good, if you're restricted and they're restricted. And it ended up not working out that way because like eventually people figured out what the like soft counters were to different matchups and how to build their team in a way that like worked for this new format. And so I think in a similar vein, we're going to figure out when it is good to just sacrifice some quest progress to get a roam in, to set another lane ahead, to, do something that is not necessarily specified by the quest or not like incentivized in setting yourself behind slightly in a way that sets your team like further forward ahead.
Yeah.
What?
I think there is something to be said for that, is figuring out like, okay, yes, the quests dictate how you should play the game to get the quests, but are they worth it? And that's going to be the $1 million question, right?
Because the same thing happened with feats last year, right? Like,
yeah, everyone was like, "Oh my god, they're broken" in the first like 2 weeks, and they're like, "Wait, this doesn't do anything." in the next 2 weeks,
not actually.
They did nerf some of
the
they
kept like buffing and nerfing it to try and get it right, because everyone was like, "This is useless," but it was actually strong, or "This is strong and it was actually."
And eventually they got it right, which is like, "Oh, this is a nice little 500 gold."
Yeah,
boost,
I thought it landed in a good place.
Exactly, it got there eventually. So like that is one thing. I know we're not ever supposed to give Riot credit for anything ever, but they like, okay, the Atacon thing, I understand why they took it out, is a bit swingy, but even Atacon, it got to a point where, I don't know, maybe it was just because I just kind of accept things and this is how I am.
I thought it was neat.
But like, it was fine. It was fine, right? Like you freak out. They changed it, and then like they have priors for this. The last year of Riot's balance, as far as like the new bullshit they throw into the game, it has a decent track record, right?
Yeah.
They didn't end up in a game-breaking state, right?
It was fun.
No one came away from the World Championships being like, oh, they won because X game mechanic. No, they won because they were a better fucking team.
Because like we had the worlds where like it was always Ardent Sensor Worlds, and everyone thinks of it as Ardent Sensor Worlds, and Samsung Galaxy wins largely. And people often attribute it, at least partially, to Ardent Sensor Worlds fitting them. And obviously Ruler was the GOAT and all this stuff, but like you know, that there has been a Worlds like that where like the meta was so defining that that's like what everyone thinks about this kind of Worlds as. And I don't think this one is gonna. I don't think we've had one like that since, or if it's gonna feel that way necessarily again. At least the last one. Do you think there was something RMC that was like?
Yeah, because I think they made the change that they needed to from the last one, which was that last Worlds or last year as a whole was too scripted and teamfight oriented, and I think that's actually why T1 won it, because Team 1 is just one of the better teamfight teams in the world. But it's a lot of skirmishing, and that's why they got rid of Atakan partially. And the timing of things was because last year was like, as a caster, like we are checking the clock and we go, oh, okay, you know, like 14 minutes, it's gonna be Herald, you know, it's like 20 minutes Atakan, 26 minutes Baron, like it's on the clock, so you know exactly what's going to happen at all given times. And it kind of took a lot of strategy out of the game because you couldn't split push effectively. You always had to rejoin your team, so trying to split push never really worked out. You know that, okay, all our team comms have to be teamfight comms because that's just how the game works. So to a certain extent, I think the teamfight, the way the objectives were, forced everybody to switch to team fighting because there was no other good way to do it. Your best other shot was just to get early skirmishes, 2v2s, junglers maybe had a bit more disproportionate impact, but they fixed it, right? They've gone rid of that. We have a bit more freedom to do 1v1s. The quest feels like they're indexing a bit the other way too much, where they're moving away from the team fights and trying to force a bit more laning instead of all the early movements. Like Forever said, I'm fine with seeing how it plays out. I don't think we've sorted it out. I don't think we figured it out.
Yeah.
If anything,
no, absolutely not.
Yeah,
it never lands immediately on first patch. Are we high? Like, can we not live in reality?
I'm okay with just seeing how it plays out, but I do think coaches actually are going to be very important. Whoever figures out how to balance what the kind of Super was saying between laning and grouping up to get major objectives, or heck, even figuring out how to exploit sort of the quests, because by killing your opponent, you set them behind, right? And especially I feel like in top lane, the 1v1 situation is going to be absolutely massive. I wouldn't be surprised if we see junglers just set up a tent in the top side early on. I don't think we'll be seeing Robo just roam down to mid at 7 minutes because he got bored in his lane anymore. Like, that sort of deal.
We're going to see him. If we do, it will be maybe the most Robo thing of all time. So even in this season, when he can get to level 20 by picking Olaf and sitting top all game, he still goes to the enemy blue buff at level 1 on Gnar and dies. Then you're like, okay, man, like this is just your brand, I suppose. This is that we can't. Riot tried to tame you and failed. Fine, that's okay. I'll take the L on that.
We'll see if it was the team environment or if it was the Robo.
It's always the Robo.
Yeah, because he looked so normal last split. Like he looked like he was just good, and he wasn't doing crazy nonsense last split. He was like, he went back up to being a top 3 top laner in performance. He was like consistent. He wasn't running it down as much. He was playing picks for the team and then just kind of playing them. Like he wasn't running it down at level 1 into the enemy blue buff. Like he looked a lot more stable later in last year than he had done for a little while. But I don't know if that's going to continue now he's back.
To be fair, I think he was limit testing when Loud was winning. And then when Loud started losing, he realized that I can't limit test anymore.
I have to lock in.
Yeah, he found the limit, Jewel, and he was just like, okay, done. Like, we actually got to play and try and win, and he still couldn't win.
Griffin can limit test because, you know, he's playing that message jungle, and he can do that. I'm just
one crazy guy at a time on the team.
Yeah, like, that's fair. Okay, so the one for the mid lane quest, you get the reward is tier 3 boots. The reward is like feet boots, basically. Do you get anything else? Or is it just tier 3 boots?
Baron recall. You get permanent
That's
Baron
what
recall.
it is. I knew there was something else.
Occasional Baron.
It's genuinely a massive change. You want to talk about like side laning. The ability to just get out of dodge in 3 seconds is super, like a lot of times, like you almost every mid laner death late in a game comes from overextension. Like in my experience, I feel like good mid laners, they're so mechanical. Like they're not gonna die in a fight unless it's like optimal to die in a fight. Like mid laners are generally very strong mechanically, very strong with positioning. On a micro sense. On a macro sense, I feel like mid laners are like, I'm gonna go do the thing, and if someone tries to stop me from doing the thing, well, I guess I'll die. But now they don't have to, which is a very good buff.
Yeah, and that plus home guards. Now that home guards is kind of like throughout the game, actually means you can rush back to lane really quickly. So you can cheat a recall and just get right back to it.
Way less TP taking generally across the board. Obviously in top lane because you get it for free at a certain point. And then like even in mid and bot lane because you just feel like you don't need it to get through lane as much, so you can get by with a combat summoner and then be happier with your combat summoner later, potentially.
Which I'm fine with, because
Unless you want to
4
actually
teleports a game was too many.
And yeah, unless you want to properly 1-3-1 with your free TP top laner and your TP mid laner, because there's no Atakan to go to. There's Baron's already dead because he did it 3 minutes ago at 20 minutes. So like maybe you want TP on your actual factual split pushing mid that you can now play. So as long as you get out of lane, when the enemy guy just has ignite every single game because he's just trying to kill you. So I guess that there are depths and folds that will be unfolded and plumbed here, and as you say, RMC, I think the coaches are going to be very important.
Way to go.
Thank you.
That was good. I saw what you did there. That took effort.
I kind of was barely holding it together, to be honest. I think it came together. It was like it was like your SeeEl heated rivalry gay sex thing that we got back to Sexo and it all kind of worked out at the end.
But the fact that you brain blasted, plumbed.
Yeah.
To save it?
We didn't see the destination when we started the journey, but it was worth it when we got there. Okay, right. Let's talk a little bit about the actual CBLOL format, because we've changed it again and the pick and play is dead. We've killed pick and play. So it's a huge W for everybody.
Everybody clapped.
Everybody clapped and cheered. And it seems like people are pretty happy about the format, folks. Are we pretty happy about the format? It's pretty normal. It makes a lot of sense. We've still got a double elim playoffs at the end of it. Bren,
round robin into double elim.
Yeah,
I've never seen such a format before I came to Springfield. What do you mean? This format it's a perfectly cromulent format.
It literally is. We've just gone back to being normal.
It's so normal. I'm so glad I feel like we had 2 straight years of just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks, when the world knows everybody knows what a team-based competitive format looks like, and it's this. It's like we have a round robin, we have a double elim, and we were doing that in Brazil, and then we were just we got to do 2 years of just wacky formats. It was
like the LEC decided to be wacky and bad and do the 3-split thing and devalue their own title, and everyone was just kind of don't feel good about this for the first year it happened, and then everyone else was like, okay, let's do what the LEC are doing. Everyone loves that, probably.
3 splits, yay!
Let's go 3 splits, wacky formats. And everyone was like, oh, now we don't like any of them. And we still don't like the LEC one. Oh, and now they've put it back. So, again, thank you. Good job. We got there in the end, I suppose. Way back to just round robin into double elim, as RMC says. The Nirvana hit, I guess, pretty hard late in 25. They had a long off season to think about it, and they just put it back. So, yeah, good stuff. So we do still, I guess this is the very simple normal format of just round robin into that. I think that the LCS's version is pretty cool, where it has a Swiss of best of 3s into basically a double elim bracket, or I believe, or it's Swiss into something else and then a double elim. But
I think it's just straight round robin into a mini play-in and then into double elim.
Isn't there a Swiss at the start of LCS? Isn't it best of 3 Swisses for 3 rounds? Am I crazy? Did I make that up?
LCS.
Did I dream that?
Man.
Did I just what?
LCS. No, LCS. You're right. Sorry, I was thinking CBLOL. Yeah.
Yeah,
LCS is Swiss.
So that's a Swiss into a big double elim bracket with seeding and last chance qualifying stuff. So that's pretty cool. I'm a Swiss lover. I like what Swiss has done to World. So I think that was a pretty cool take on it. But I am not going to sniff at a round robin into a double elim. I'm perfectly happy with it. So
I mean, to be fair too, first cup or the first split, whatever cup,
the CBLOL Cup,
you want to call it.
This is
CBLOL Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do think it should be round robin. Yeah, it's the first time you're getting a look at teams. You want to see them against every other team, so you can get an idea.
Let them
of
play
it.
as many games as possible.
Yeah, if you want to do in split 2 or summer, if you want to do Swiss, I'm fine with that by that point. Yeah, right, because Swiss to me is the most competitive, but you also know what you're dealing with at that point. But if it's a first glance, I want to see everything.
And you can seed the Swiss based on the first split of data and standings that you have to at least give some sort of reasonable seeds, Swiss seeding at the start. And the fact that we had so many formats last year where some teams would just never play each other. And you're like, what? I want to see the teams play the game against the other teams. I like the CBLOL and I want to see them play each other. That's kind of what I'm a fan of on a base level. So
100%.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know about everybody else. I like Swiss format. I'm a big Swiss format enjoyer. Yeah. Like I said, I like a lot of competitive Pokemon, and all their tournaments use Swiss format. But I like Swiss format a lot more when it's a bigger field. And I think with only 8 teams, it kind of doesn't do like you have. It's like you can't do round robin with 1,000 players. You can do round robin with 8 teams. Like, come on.
Yeah, it is because Swiss always gets better. Kind of the bigger it is, like the more rounds and teams, the more efficient. Not efficient. The more like correct it is. Like the more it will sort effectively out at the end, I guess. Which is why I would have loved them to put the full final round in the World Swiss instead of having like 2 knockouts. I wanted them to play it all the way down to 1 knockout and all the way up to a single qualify and then down. And maybe the scheduling just doesn't work for that because it is a whole other like round to slap in the middle.
It's a lot.
It's a lot more. But I think like it felt like teams didn't play a huge amount of games necessarily last split, and I think they could have shoved another round in there. And then no one can complain about the Swiss because it literally corrects all the way down to the exact loser and the exact winner, and then off the bottom. So then no one can, because people were getting pre-mad last year before the Swiss was even done. They were like blaming Swiss for not working properly when no one had qualified or been eliminated, and you're like, guys, wait a second, let them cook, and then we'll see if it's wrong or not. Like, it's fine.
League fans getting mad at something they don't yet know about or understand, not even once.
Surely never, ever.
That's practically tradition at this point.
Yeah. Just to drop in a side note here, just to tilt RMC a little bit, the UK League, which is still going on that I'll be casting as well, has adopted a best of 2 format for this split. And I am so happy. And I didn't even ask them to do it. I didn't even have to tell them to do it. They just did it themselves. And I was like,
so they just tie sometimes?
So sometimes you tie, and then you get a 3-score thing with like win, draw, loss. And then it's like game diff plus score, and then it just sorts the top.
That is literally the format that even the LEC abandoned.
That's because the LEC don't know what they're doing. We've established this. They have no idea what they're doing.
They didn't know. They tried it, and they went, even for us, this doesn't work. And LEC went, bet.
So, you'll be able to find the videos last year of me dying on the hill that I think best of 2 is good and that everyone who hates it is fake and hasn't seen it and actually is just is coping. So I will report back from the UKL and see how it goes. Because the good thing about the UKL is you can just do this and then just change it a split later because no one, not to like put ourselves down, nobody really cares, like on a grand scale. And like we can just do it and then just switch it back, and we'd have to go through Riot to do any of this or anything, right? So so I will report back to see if best of 2 actually sucks, and I will put my hand on my heart and honestly say if it sucks, it sucks. But we're gonna see a best of 2 split in the UK, so we'll see how that goes.
Good luck.
And I'll see if I will dig my heels in even harder or if I will graciously stand aside to best of 1 round robin. Okay, so that's the format we're kicking off here with the cup. Now, there's another cup that was announced mere hours ago or whatever it is. We need to talk a little bit about the America's Cup, to loosely translate it for Gringo Talk. This is... Well, RMC, why don't you tell us about it? Because like I said, I didn't even know what it was until we started the podcast. I had to look at it, but you already knew who it was. So tell us about the America's Cup.
So the America's Cup is their attempt to try and keep some sort of legacy alive from the LTA. Basically, it will be the North versus the South once again, and they'll be doing it before First Stand, which this year will be in Brazil. So they're going to do it in the Riot Games Arena in Sao Paulo. I believe it's the week before. And it will be the 2nd and 3rd place teams from LCS up against CBLOL, and the prize will be a boot camp slot. So I guess we should talk about boot camp first. So Brazil had been doing this boot camp thing where they send some of like their 2nd, 3rd place teams that don't make it to MSI or Worlds to a boot camp instead at the location of MSI or Worlds, and it was pretty successful. It's been raising the level of Brazil. Last year they sent them up to LA during First Stand to get some experience against the LTA North teams at the time.
To get the true American experience of beating the shit out of Dignitas.
Yeah. they famously launched Ai's career into a Worlds video by sending him to an EU boot camp where he rank one.
Never forget.
From like the support position, and then AD carried and made it into a Worlds video.
Like 3 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
So, it's been quite successful. So now they're expanding it to the North as well. So LCS and CBLOL will be sending some teams to a boot camp at MSI in Korea. So it will be the 3rd place team from the LCS because 1 and 2 will be playing at MSI, and then it'll be 2 and 3 from CBLOL because number 1 will also be at MSI. So there'll be those 3 teams will already guaranteed a boot camp slot. But now the America's Cup will have an extra spot up for grabs. So the winner of that second and third place from the first cup / lock-in will be battling for an extra slot for their region at the Korean boot camp. So we'll still get the north-south sort of rivalry, which I think this is a much healthier way to do it, where it doesn't cost the teams as much to actually participate in this, and it doesn't breed the bad blood with like the international spot and teams and regions feeling like, oh, they're losing out or anything like that.
And also, I think, as with any great rivalry, right? I mean, me and 4x4 know quite a bit about a great rivalry, right? We give each other the single. It doesn't matter which side of the rivalry you're on. It is the single best rivalry in all of sport. It is beautiful, and part of what makes a good rivalry is that we both have our identities. We know who we are and who they are, and we are not they, and they are not we.
I.e. good and evil.
Yeah, we hate them.
Exactly. So, and us both, like, we're both the LTA, but no one really likes that moniker. Like, what are we, like, we're fighting over who the best conference is. Like, didn't have that same... It does not have that same ring as, like, the CBLOL is going to beat the shit out of the LCS.
Yeah.
Right? I get to say that with my full chest. That feels great. Okay? And, like, so this cup, I'm so excited. Because, like, even when I was at, like, LTA finals, when we were doing the in-person press conferences, I was asking the FlyQuest players, like, how do you guys feel about, like, international play? Like, do you think that it's good? And even they were like, yeah, like, I think it's good for both regions,
Yeah.
So
I mean, I won't go as far as to say this is the best rivalry. LCS LEC still exists, so we'll go with that one.
I was talking about
a little bit,
Ohio State and Michigan. We me and 4x4's little rivalry there.
Yeah.
For sure. In the Western League of Legends, I think LCS LEC. But I'm looking forward to seeing CBLOL try and build up a rivalry with the LCS that could maybe one day,
Yeah, I think CBLOL needs to be up on an LEC team and just muscle them out of the way, basically. Be like, no, we're the rivals now. Because if we needed G2 to not beat FlyQuest at Last Worlds and kind of... We needed them to completely collapse under the weight of LCS for like the...
We need a G2 to lose to Furia.
We need G2 to lose to Furia again, to be clear. We need them to lose to Furia again, because they have done that already. And Cloud9 has.
We need them to lose a series.
So what I'm saying is we need to send Furia. I'm saying we need to send Furia, basically. So, because they've already got the juice, and they've got the head-to-heads. They've got a Cloud9 one and a G2 one.
European blood.
Yeah, so that's what we need to do. But for this, it's a nice way to just kind of slot it in. I also think that the second and third, given what we've seen out of the CBLOL second and third versus literally the like anyone who's not FlyQuest who wasn't last year's FlyQuest, it seemed like we came out pretty good from that, right? Like our first beat their second and our second beat their third. So, pretty happy with that, and it seems like it might actually be interesting. Like it might actually be a good matchup. 4i4, from what we know of the LCS now, which of course is very different. FlyQuest is completely different. Cloud9 now has APA. TL is now Jose Diodo's definitely not Elo held playground or whatever. Like, if you give what we know about these two teams now, because like VKS is largely the same plus Skywing, Red's basically the same, right? Exactly the same.
Exact same.
Exact same. Yep. Like we know the changes that have come through Pain and Fury are still basically the same, right? So do you feel like we can still stack up well after the shuffling that's gone around, mostly in LCS, because our top level is pretty similar?
Yeah, no, and I mean, maybe this is going to sound like hope, but I feel like at least, the earlier in the year, the better for the CBLOL, because there hasn't been as much seismic change, right? Like you said, the Juggernaut, the old king is dead, long live the king in the LCS. FlyQuest is dead, and I think there will be some upheaval as to, who will get that next spot, right? I mean, like FlyQuest to me still probably has the strongest roster pound for pound on paper in the LCS.
Yeah, they're very young.
Yes, they are young, but like the talent on that roster, right? I mean, look, Crowd might be like, I think, let me put it this way. I think at the end of the year, there's a strong possibility that they are still the best team. Because I think they could be just that good. Right? Like, who I'll flip it to you. Is it just Cloud9? Because that seems like the most kind of like
I think it could be
solved.
Lion, yeah.
Not solved, but like, but yeah, no, I think like, but look, Cloud9, look, good things never happen to Cloud9 after the year of our Lord 2020. Well,
Good.
aside from the perks here, but even then you could argue whether that was a good thing or not. But like, yeah, I think this could be very good. And like you said, Trajan, I think the seeding of like, R2 versus their 2 or R3 versus their 3 or, R2 versus their 3, right? That's like perfect. And, I think Red will be back with like a point to prove and a chip on their shoulder. So I think this could go very, very well. And I think the earlier it happens, the better, because the LCS teams will be less settled. And I think we are more settled.
Yeah. You mentioned Lion there, RMC, as like a potential new top of there. Is that just because Inspired's on it, or
no?
Dude,
they have Saint Berserker Inspired. Like I think that's an incredibly strong core. Yeah, and then Zamudo. Okay, I said this before.
I think that team is going to tilt. And
do you think Inspired is going to tilt everybody and be mean?
Inspired went to fucking Lion? That is the most Lionel Messi goes to Inter Miami move I have ever seen.
No, they have Saint and Berserker. It's not just.
If I wanted to win, I would go back to Europe. I would have stayed with FlyQuest. I would have gone to Cloud9 or TL. I'm not going to do the fucking Lion project with the greatest of respect. Look, there's a part of me that kind of hopes it works. Not because of any of the players.
Doesn't sound like you hope it works. I'll be honest. It really doesn't sound like you hope it works.
I hope it works for Lion. But that will be the only reason I'm happy.
For like, Lizard's sake.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm looking at Lion above C9 right now. Like, with the FlyQuest, I know Quad Masu is insanely good, but like, I think Lion's going to be the one who's actually going to contest FlyQuest, and we'll see how it goes. To be fair, I do think FlyQuest is still a cut above in terms of talent. If anything, I'm actually more worried FlyQuest is going to tilt with how young that roster is. And yeah, with Gakko's Griffin topside, I could see that.
They're out of the shackles of the Whippo inspired "my parents are fighting" drama. They're
true. Like, I'm not saying that I think that old FlyQuest is necessarily better. Yeah. I just think that like the talent distribution now, like there is actually, I think the rest, or not the rest, but the upper end of the LCS is actually upgraded. Now I do agree for that. I think CBLOL's best shot is to like that for the Copa de Americas or the American Cup is happening earlier, which is favorable for CBLOL. Yeah. Fully agree. These teams will need time to click together, but by the end of the year, I think the LCS upside, like top side, is going to look quite scary.
I think so. I think by the end of the year, in theory, LCS 1-2 will be better than CBLOL 1-2.
To avoid turning it into a full LCS podcast, the last thing I think to mention on this is I can't help but notice nobody even mentioned TL and Jose Diodo.
Sure, who?
Exactly, right? Like Yon, Core, Jose, Quid, and
Morgan.
Morgan, literally Morgan.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exact case in point. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next week on Gringos Liberados.
Kind of, I want more for Jose Diodo, but it doesn't.
But
seem
you got
like
Morgan.
They didn't. They didn't start.
You got Morgan.
They did not.
He went from a
start
Subaru South to a Subaru North.
Honestly,
it's a blue team with an animal for a logo.
Yeah.
That will whelm you and nothing else.
Yeah. Okay. They're gonna be a solid 6th place.
We will hope for more than whelming for Jose, I suppose, but we'll not necessarily expect it. All right, let's talk about rosters. Let's talk about some CBLOL rosters. Let's
the meat of it.
Swap the screen over. Now, we are gonna keep it a simple top to bottom here. With teams featuring tiers designed by RMC, I assume. With Sheesh tier. Sheesh Ace.
These are great.
B for Brazil, which is kind of controversial given that this is putting them in the middle and the mid-level. As a bold
team. In my defense, I actually have no teams in that tier.
Not even the teams with all Brazil
no
players?
Brazilian teams in the Brazil
Okay, so this is going to be an interesting tier list for RMC at least.
This is a meta. This is a Rorschach test. What you see here will determine a lot about your personality.
He was unable to not mention some sort of Riftbound TCG word in it, so he called C common tier, and then D for dumpster, which is fairly self-explanatory. Okay, right. Let's look at these gosh darn teams. First one on the list, I'm just going to do them in the order they come, is Furia, which is, I believe, the same.
Yep. The only change for Furia was in the coaching role, because Thinkard got the call back to North America. He's now coaching FlyQuest. Huge props to him. I think he did amazingly well. Furies was his assistant coach and will be stepping up as their new head coach.
Yeah. So there was the kind of discussion about the collapse of Furia in the final split of 2025 after they took on a kind of, by their own admission, or generally the feeling is quite a grueling practice schedule. The problems that, if we're honest with ourselves, had always been there with Furia got kind of widened, cracked open, and they just kind of started falling apart in games. The team just kind of came apart at the seams in team fights, and they could no longer get away with things they were getting away with at the start of the year. And Tatu was still trying his little heart out. He was trying his damnedest and still looked pretty good the whole time. But players like Gigu got a little bit exposed. Tuts went off a cliff in that split after reaching a new peak in time for MSI, then completely tumbled off. So that there was a lot of volatility there. But they've run it back. Potentially
has now completed the same career arc twice in one career.
Yeah. Potentially,
he's gonna do it again. There's a third one.
He's gonna end up back in CD in Split 2, and then he's gonna have gone the whole roller coaster up and down. But it's the same assistant coach. We can't yet say whether it's going to be the exact same ethos, and if it's going to try and carry forward the project that had been started by ThinkCard, or if they're going to pivot away from it if they feel like it didn't work. And we know that ThinkCard left for FlyQuest. We don't necessarily know that he was like, I can't do this, I can't make this work, I need to leave, or if FlyQuest was just like, we need a coach, and he was just like, hello, I would like to coach for the best team.
And your home country.
I would say what I've heard out of the ThinkCard camp is that he just really wanted to like be closer to home. Like that was the biggest factor of all the.
It is always going to be optimal for him to be in North America as a North American. So where do we think that leaves Furia with a potentially diminished, quote unquote, coaching staff, but it's still a very proven core that did not come off a good last split. So there's a lot of kind of conflicting information here about Furia.
I still think this roster has arguably the highest ceiling outside of midlane in every role. So
I think I could buy that. I think there's a conversation to be had about all that. And I think so are we doing where we think they'll start or where we think they'll end? And when does that end?
That's what we always do, right?
End of split one?
Because the end of first split,
like,
it's not a long split.
Yeah,
like,
end of cup, sorry.
Yeah, of course, end of cup. There's no such thing as a split in the first
or is it just like an abstract, this is the most actualized, realistic version of the team?
No, just end of cup.
I think let's just say where we think they're going to be end of cup is probably fine, because it gives us, it's not too long a time. And yeah, we don't know, like some of these teams, we'd not be able to say how good necessarily they are, like especially like Loud, right? How can we like rank Loud until they play? So like we'd have to expect where they're going to end up after a split, because who knows, man.
Yeah,
so
like Furia is volatile. I think if we average them out, I think I have them in the S tier. But I think they could just bomb down to Brazil pretty easy.
Yeah.
But also they could just be the best team bar none. Even with SeeEl at the helm of Kate Stars, like the raw talent Furia has. But they're very volatile. I'd have them in Sheesh tier personally.
Sheeshers.
I think I would put them in A until like they have to show me a little bit of something right now. Because I think the end was so bad. Because I agree with you, MC. They could end up in Sheesh, 100%. Like they could be the best team this year. That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
But like, the end of last year was so bad. I can't in good conscience just like, oh yeah, they'll be back in us.
It was a bit of a generational collapse.
It was just literally just the ending though. That's what.
I know, but that is the most recent, and that's not even recency bias.
Yep.
That is the most accurate version because that is what we've seen most recently.
And we don't know yet whether they're going to double down or try and pivot away, or whether doubling down is actually correct, or whether pivoting away is actually correct from like the problems that they had. Because it might just be that they had only had that schedule for a few weeks and burnt themselves out because they weren't used to it and didn't know how to do it properly. Now they've had an off-season practicing, and now they've got a better practice regimen because of it, and now they're even better. You know, it depends on which way South American man. You know, like. And
let's not forget level 20 Gigo, 7-item Ayu. That's all I'm saying.
7-item Ayu. That is true.
You know, there is a lot there.
You think
like for me, I think I'm so happy that Furia kept the same roster, because I feel like
me too.
Even like, you know, that collapse was like what a collapse, and I feel like a lot of teams would see that and just very knee jerk like, all right, blow it up.
Yeah.
like immediately, and so like, but
I
personally like. Obviously, it's a bit of recency bias, and I underrated Furia at the start of last year as well, where I was like, I don't know, like I just Furia gives me bad vibes, and then I put them like in like C tier, and then I got blasted for it. Which fair, hey, I'll eat
by
that
the end of
crow.
the year, you were just ahead of you were early but not wrong, Superman.
Oh yeah,
early but not wrong.
I know. I also said Leviathan was really. I also said Leviathan was really bad, and then they like won the first split, and people were like, "What are you talking about?"
You were right. You were right about
Leviathan.
Leviathan.
I was right about Leviathan.
Again, early but not wrong. Like split 2, they were right at the bottom again. So,
but for Furia, like I see them as being like kind of honestly like a low A tier team unless they have like solved that behind the scenes issue. And if they have, I can see them being high tier, but not higher tier than like I think an actualized, like if we're going with like a self-actualized, like this is like the best and worst of each team. I think they have the highest ceiling maybe like in individuals, but I don't think they have the highest ceiling as a team. I think they're like second or third. So I guess like top of A is fine for me.
I think that because I bought in on Furia very early back when like they were doing 60-minute time trials with IU Neela. And I was bought in all of last year and was very sad to watch the generational collapse. I think that as much as I kind of don't want to admit it, I think that something does resonate about the fact that I worry about their ceiling as a team, because it really did feel like as they started to perform worse, it wasn't like I've never seen Furia make this mistake. It was like they've made this mistake. They're making the same mistake, and it looks way worse now than it looked last split when they could do that and then just win. And it was like, wow, they're so sick. And then in the back of my mind, I was like, it wasn't really sick. Like, that was kind of dumb, but they kind of go away with it. So, like, I have this lingering worry that unless they don't actually change something, they are a little doomed to see those same problems. And does just maintaining the same assistant coach give them a good way to, like actually solve that problem? I don't know. So I agree with RMC that I think Tatu is the best jungler in the region. I think he has the highest ceilings, maybe one of the highest, if not the highest ceiling player in the region. I think Gigo is still the Gigoat, even when he's only level 18. I have faith for Tuts because I've seen what Tuts can do, and I've seen what I feel like he's just very up and down, and I think in the right place he can be really good. And then IU is IU, and I think Jojo as well has like shown just such form for so long and is such a great piece of team. He's so consistent. Like, it's just this like, can they actually evolve past where they got to? Because they were evolving and they got to like performing well at MSI, but can they actually make it past the hurdle they're up against now? I don't know, and I don't know if this coaching change is going to help them do that. So I worry that they're going to stall out. I don't want them to, but I really worry that they're going to stall out a bit. Now, I don't know if RMC is still here. He has swapped his picture to some sort of aesthetic, like a Windows background when you open your Windows PC and just shows you like a cool vista.
Trajan, this is my hill, and I'm dying on it.
Okay, right, there we go. I respect how long you stuck with it to wait for me to finish my rambling point to do this.
You really gay sex CL.
Yeah, you're really sexo gay really... sex heat of rivalry CL. No!
We didn't see the destination when we started the journey.
No.
Any slow burn long format joke is now forever gay sex CL.
Gay sex CL. Okay.
We can say it on the podcast.
Okay, RMC. Tell me, like, is the hill that they
usually
are
the hill
essentially.
Usually the hill I die on is at like pain number 1, but I can't do that this split because they're dying another place.
You cannot
but
do that this split.
We'll get
Furia, the hill I'm going to die on is that the team that's going to screw CL is going to be Furia. Furia's going to win one of the splits.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put them in I would go that far.
Okay, I thought you said all 3 splits. I was like, whoa, that's not RMC.
They just have to ruin one of the splits. No.
Yeah, they're going
this is
to
Brazil.
ruin
the only team that's done 3 is Loud. So
they're going to spike CL's wheel. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. And like, so in the CL review call that he did, someone asked him, like, because he was talking a lot about other teams, and like And then he didn't really mention Furia. Then one of the people in chat said, basically, what about Furia? And then he said, I don't know about Furia, we were beating them by the end, and just moved on. And I was like, that was a very quick answer.
Is that so?
I felt like it was a dodge. I felt like he dodged the question. I'll be honest. I felt like he dodged the Furia question.
He thinks the Sexo death protests too little.
I think he protests far too little about Furia.
You know what's crazy about this is I messaged SeeEl like not that long ago, like just after the new year, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys like have in the new year from CBLOL English." Like,
and it's
he's
just
probably
mostly
gonna watch this episode.
It's mostly gay sex and calling him bluff.
If I can't have controversial pain takes, I gotta go somewhere else. So.
Yeah.
Have some.
Oh well. So
I'm clipping this and sending it.
I'm gonna, for now, because I have the mouse, I'm gonna put them in what is a metaphorical bottom of sheesh. Because I do want to believe in them still, and like ultimately, it did feel like a time when like Tattoo, for example, probably could have gone wherever he wanted in that off season. Like in Brazil, certainly, probably even many, if not several places in North America, had that been a goal, but he chose to stick it out. I think it says something about potentially the belief in the project, which obviously helps. And I want to believe that they are at least sheesh maxers in like low bottom of sheesh. So there could be a reason to push them down into ace here, depending on how we rank some of these other folks. But
I'll accept that. Like I just have this feeling in the pit of my stomach.
I kind of have it lingering. Too. I'm just ignoring it.
Can I make a proposed change to the tier list?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we change C from common tier to catfish tier?
Oh,
because we call because Bagre we call teams.
Should B be the Bagre tier?
Because then.
Bagre's bad.
Well, but B feels so in the middle. It's so average. Catfish is bad.
Catfish is definitely bad. It has to be bad. All right. The next one is Fluxu, and they have a shiny new logo. So it's now.
I like the colors.
It's now
no
not
bias.
W7M Fluxu. It's now Fluxu W7M. So I don't really know why, or I don't care. I'll be honest, but Fluxu.
No one does.
Is back, and they had a very nice photo shoot with their players. And RMC, do you think that Fluxu have made a material step up in the offseason?
I think it's pertinent that they're screaming the Fluxu part, because last year they did the W7M part, the developmental part. They ran Pain Gaming Academy +1, and it flopped. And this year, their changes, they've kept Curdy in the top lane, which is a young developing player, formerly Loud Academy, and then they're doing more, I feel like, tested players now. They've got House coming back in the mid lane, replacing
Foo. House, dude. What could have been?
Replacing Foo.
Yeah. I mean, House looked great coming back from tier 2. He looked way better in CBLOL or LTA South than he did in CD.
Top 2 players in Leviathan, easily, maybe even top 1. So we're good.
There's this crazy stat. I was doing like trivia with fans at the LTA championships, and I was like, oh, let's like a weird stat that no one will know. He had like the highest DPM in the league.
He always does that.
I asked like some Brazilian fans. I found some Brazilians. I was like, okay, guys, like which of all like mid laners who had the highest damage per minute? And they were like, oh, Kaze, of course. Oh, And I was like, it's House, bro.
Rubes.
Yeah. My guess would have been Mortalis, but House. I remember like back in 2021, 2022, when we first started in the Gringos Liberados podcast and the ranking, and I used to make the argument, House best mid laner, and y'all thought I was crazy. And every time I pull up the stats showing that he's actually up there statistically. But yeah, I mean, it's just House things, right? He's back. They're still keeping Prods as their support as well. And Prods is no longer that young rookie that came in on Pain Gaming. He's now got a lot more experience. And then instead of going for rookies, they've picked imports. And arguably, these imports are, you could say that they're younger, but they've been in the TCL, LFL,
Peach has been in the
Spanish league. Yeah, true. Yeah, he's actually played on
XL, I believe.
Pixel? Yeah. I remember I wasn't impressed when I saw him in the LEC.
It was Bao had a brief stint with or like not a super brief stint. He spent a couple months on DRX, right? Like back in
DRX Challenger.
People were talking quite positively about Bao. I think in this offseason, I think he was actually quite probably had offers, as it were, but maybe not necessarily like good offers, or he probably wouldn't be here. But like people were like, Bao is respectable. Like he's not just like a random bottom of the barrel challenger player who had nowhere else to go. Like he is a talent of sorts at the very least. How much of a talent in this environment, who knows? But I think people definitely have respect for him as a player.
Yeah, and it's worth noting as well that Peach and Bao both came to DRX Challenger on the same team and did pretty well when they were together in the past. So, yeah, it feels like they've gone more for the import route more than the developmental route. So I'm actually, I don't know, this roster feels really weird to me. It still feels very piecemeal and like in pieces. Like, I don't particularly see Curdy, House, and Prods, like their playstyle meshing together. And I'm a little bit concerned that the thread tying them together is Peach, who is an import. We've seen that work before, most notably being Croc. But I think we've seen random import jungler on Brazilian team with little to no synergy fail more frequently than we've seen it actually succeed.
For every Croc, there's a trick.
I was about to say, like, he even came from the LEC as well, right? Like, there's a possible trickening gonna occur here. And I didn't like feel good about Curti from last split. I
get the most solo kills, I think, or
cool. Yeah.
Pro Delta no longer inspired. Like at beginning of 2025, like, dude, I would think I was like in the fantasy every week, or like always like in the Discord. I was the biggest Pro Delta believer.
Yeah.
I thought I was so astounded. Now, obviously, in hindsight, it made a lot of sense. You know, we had the benefit of a full year, but even in that first split, I was like, I don't think Trimby on VKS is currently, you know, during split 1 was doing better than Pro Delta on VKS. And I think that was true during that split.
Yeah.
But then Pro Delta felt like he just like, he has never been able to recapture that magic of like that rookie split with Pain and that like second split with VKS, like where they were just like, he just felt like he was always on the right timing. And like, he was like making these huge engages, but he wasn't just engaging to engage. Like he does what I see, like, I catch myself doing sometimes as like Rel, where I'm just like, oh, I can hit a 5-man engage. I'm going to hit a 5-man knock up and get the huge ult off. Yeah. And then like my team is like 100 meters away, like doing an objective. And I'm like, why aren't we following up my engage, guys?
It
like,
was so sick.
And that's my concern when I see House and Curdy, because House might do like his own Azir like sick engage, but House has struggled in the past with kind of following up. And I'm sorry for Curdy. Like Curdy just not looking on the same page as anybody else in that team last year or last split or two. So I'm very, very concerned that we're going to see a lot of the synergy. And then you add in 2 Koreans who, where I'm assuming they're going to end up speaking English potentially. I don't know. Yeah. So if nobody's speaking their native language.
Yeah, I mean,
first split is going to be a mess.
Peach will have decent English from the previous team he was on, or at least workable, having played an LEC split. We know House has good English. Curtsy, no idea. Prods, I don't actually know. I feel like he does, but I don't actually know if he does.
Most of his interviews are in Portuguese. So.
And then Bao, it doesn't matter. He's playing Eddie Carry.
Real.
Just play the game.
Just click.
It's fine.
Is he a CL AD carry?
Is he a CL? Yeah, if he's a CL AD carry, just play the game. It's fine. So, but we do have, you know, so there's the two. We have the massive house buff of you can't leave mid and run it down in the side lane in the early stages. Now you have to stay there and just be good at laning. So
he's a good laner.
He is, and when he goes on side lane and tries to run it down later in the game, he's got a 3-second recall, so he can just recall and leave. So we're gonna see no more 15 kill, you know, Tristana lanes turn into 15 and 12 losses from House. Hopefully, that's my hope. Yeah, it's like there's a decent amount of proven value here. Like House, especially coming off last split, Bao and Peach are certainly players that have skill. Pro Delta and Curti are kind of in the doghouse and need to prove why they. Curti less so. Pro Delta's in the doghouse because we've seen like what he could be, and he's had like a couple of rough splits. Curti's, it's too fresh to necessarily put him in the doghouse. That's probably unfair. But
for Curti, I just want to add as well that the changes he did well 1v1. The problem was what he did outside 1v1.
Yeah.
So if the top lane becomes
it is literally all about 1v1s. You're absolutely right. It's literally just the 1v1s is what I'm hearing. So maybe this is Curti's year. That's true. And I kind of like I'm wanting to see what Aoshi can do here, because we had a lot of respect for what else he did with INTZ, and honestly, I don't not too much excitement for anything that he's done with anything since then. And there was a lot of coach cams of him being
low key
really,
in the doghouse.
Yeah, there was a lot of coach cams of him being really mad, and not a lot of his teams doing anything good. So I don't know. That doesn't seem like a good combo, but we'll see what happens here, because now he's got imports to manage, which is not super experience for him. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So where are we putting them? Where are we putting Fluxu? Are we thinking, because you say no one in Brazil tier RMC? This feels like a C or a B, like, but
I had them C.
You had them C.
I like where they are right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty okay with that. Yeah.
Any more hope for these imports, or at least
again? I think that it wouldn't surprise me if they got there, but I think this could just as easily go. So there's too many unknowns for me.
Oh,
I'm okay with C.
I guess my question is to you, 4x4, is like, do you think they're better than last year? Like, do you think this Fluxu that we're looking at it has a strong chance to be better than completely unobjectively bottom of the table?
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Yes, therefore not D, C.
Yes. Yeah. I feel more optimistic for them, and I currently would put them at bottom of Brazil, at Mordekaiser's realm of, Brazil tier. That's because I have more hope in the imports, I think, than some. Again, like,
the imports aren't Brazilian.
Yeah, but like when we get to Loud, we can talk about other non-Brazilian imports, and then we'll talk about what we think about that, because that's another. It's kind of the other side of this coin, where there's like another couple of imports. I think they're also jungle bot lane. That are.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll talk about them. So I'm happy to leave them in Catfish for now, and maybe like a theoretical top of C. But I would have put them in B, but we're 3-1 on C, which I think is arguable still. Because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and they're for sure C. Like,
just a reminder as well, the cup is only 7 weeks long, from first game to grand finals. Most teams will only be playing about 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So
and 2 teams will not even make it to playoffs, right? 2 teams
they play 3 weeks.
Dumpster round 7 and 8, and then we'll never see them until split 2.
Yeah. So teams that might need like more time to gel, that have more roster changes, I think are going to be weaker.
Yeah, they do have a better experience gelling than maybe last year, where they at least can play a full round robin and get a lot of exposure against all the teams and etc. But we'll see. So yeah, I'm happy to leave them in C for now. We've got Leviathan next, so we don't. At some point, maybe we'll have to talk to Lizard to try and understand if there's any optimism left.
So, let's talk about what Leviathan has changed. So they've changed their coaching staff, for one.
Yeah.
I think it's they just picked up their head coach for the split, which I believe is Kaiba.
Yes, Seto.
He used to coach, or he used to be assistant coach for one of the LCS teams. I can't recall who off the top of my head, but he actually has some LCS experience. He also actually used to play in Brazil back in 2019. He played on Renzo.
Oh no!
In BRCC, not CBLOL. That's why I didn't say Brazil. Like, I didn't say CBLOL. He had experience in Brazil specifically. That's it. They've retained their bot lane, so CEO and Toplop are back. I think CEO did a fine job for the team, given everything else that was happening on that team. Toplop didn't particularly impress me, but he was not the problem. So
he was better for them, but he wasn't necessarily like, he was better for them than, I think, because before they had Prods, and then Prods went to Fluxu and they got Toplop, and I think Toplop looked like a better fit, but no, he wasn't like exceptional.
Like, he didn't int with like a one-man engage.
He made some plays. He did not run it down as hard. Like, he was one thumb up.
Notably, Leviathan did not get Cody, who I think was a name that was being swung around for a while there. Instead, their entire top half of the map, so top jungle mid, are all LLA imports, which I think matches the whole Leviathan brand. They are a LLA team originally. So in the top lane, they've got Devos, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, who's coming in from Fuego in the LRN. Their jungler, Bookie, who I actually have heard of being a top prospect, coming in also from Fuego LRN. The mid laner, some of us might remember the name, is Enga.
Yeah.
From Farenven in the LRS. Yep. So if you remember Enga, he played in CBLOL on Renska as well back in 2021. That was like was it 9-man or was that the 11-man roster?
Close enough.
What was
Welcome
super
back,
funny,
Renska Esports.
Yep, was that Enga is replacing House right now, who played in Leviathan last year.
Yeah.
on Renska, Enga and Hao split time as their mid laners. So it's full circle. Enga's back again.
Mm-hmm. And so there's a potentially interesting jungle talent that didn't have the best position to grow before, has now a better league to contest against. We do have some pretty strong junglers to go up against here. We've got Desamus, we've got Tatu, we've got people floating around. And I think the bot lane is fine. Serviceable bot lane. CEO's good, top up's fine. Kind of correct to fine, I think, in my head. And I don't really know what to think about Enga and Devas at this point. As in playing now here. I don't feel good about it. But I can't say. I think I'll be honest, guys, especially the LLA top laners. We've seen Zoffy, we've seen Zoan, and I haven't had a good time with either of them.
A lot of mid.
I'm kind of with you. Even the problems, Devas is one of the better top laners in LRN. I think statistically, he was up there with Stry, who plays in the NACL or collegiate side.
NACL, CBLOL,
right? Yeah,
etc.
I remember him more from the collegiate side, but on Ole Miss. But so if he's that level, I think he's okay-ish. The problem is that he's not FNB. He's not Robo. Heck, 1v1, I don't know if he's even Curdy, because Curdy is actually really good at the 1v1s. So I don't think he'll int the team. I just don't know if he'll be a big carry. Bookie's interesting because I think he's actually really good. Bookie's early ganking is really good. And then he kind of gets a bit quiet in the mid game. And then later when the team fight started out, he's really good at engaging. Enga is mechanically insanely dominant in the LRS. The problem is these are all tier 2 LLA teams. And tier 2 LLA is not as good as CD.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly it.
Yeah. They're individually really good. I just don't know how they're meshing. And then the problem is that even worse, this is Leviathan, who we all thought was going to be crap in Split 1 last year, and then just popped off and just crushed it. And I could see this team doing the same thing. It's a lot of individually good pieces. I have them pretty low right now because I don't expect the synergy to be good. And I think a lot of the existing synergistic teams will be able to just overcome them. And then Korean hands are a thing as well. So I have them low, but I could see them being a bit of an upset dark horse-ish team. I would not say they come top 2 though. I would be shocked beyond belief if they did.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it feels mean to put a team immediately in dumpster tier, but this feels like the one that if you would, this would be it.
Yeah.
I
think that,
but I do think they have a lot of room to grow. I'll say that much.
Sure.
Just not in 6 or 7 weeks.
Evidence.
I have no argument here. It's just
I feel really bad for Seo, but I can't justify it.
I'm looking over the roster over and over, and I'm like, what's the win condition? What's the counter argument to make here? And there's really just not much of one.
Can't wait for them to win the cup because that's what Leviathan does.
There's always that one team we get really wrong. So
yeah.
It would be Leviathan, I feel like,
and Lizard would be happy.
Sure.
Okay, so the next one on the list is Los, which is in black. You might not be able to see it, but is Los. Does anyone know who Los's roster is? Anyone know who's playing on Los?
So Los Grandes is keeping their. So Los Grandes is replacing Isras. So that's the team spot they're taking. They are retaining from the Isras roster only the support, Ackerman.
Right.
All the other roles are being changed. Now, from the Los Grandes roster that played in CD last year, they're only keeping their coach, Enetron. So everybody else is kind of new on this roster. So they too have imports. In the top lane, they have Zest, who's, I believe he's, actually, is Zest Korean? I forgot to... I know they're coming in from the EMEA side of things. Zest is coming in from the TCL, from Bushido Wildcats, which is the same team that Peach was on. And then their other imports, their mid laner Feisty, who's coming in from GX Pride, I think it is. Proud GX Pride.
Sure.
From Superliga. Both of them, I think, did actually pretty well in their respective regions coming in. Then their jungle is Drake Hero, who I've long been a fan of. I think he's too good for CD. Struggles a bit for weird reasons in CBLOL. Like individually, I think his mechanics are good. He just keeps being on bad teams. And then, of course, Dada is coming in, the big AD carry from Kaboom IDL. Now, if you follow CD at all, you'll know that Kaboom IDL was Hirit Gaming for like the first split, and then second split, Hirit got tired. The team was just crashing and just they still tried to play around him. They shouldn't have. Should have played around Deta. He was their best performer by far. So I'm glad to see him get a shot in CBLOL. I am uncertain how good he will be. I feel like I actually had Marvin over Deta in CD. So that'll be interesting given the rough entrance that Marvin had. But yeah, this squad, I know a lot of people, the gut reaction, the knee-jerk reaction was, oh, they're going to be 10th place in an 8-team league. But I feel, I don't know. I actually, they're not my lowest ranked team. I'll say that much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if nothing else, to your point, I mean, you talk about like some of the talent coming onto Leviathan. It's like, okay, a lot of them, the highest they played is tier 2 LLA, which is below CD. Yeah. And if some of these guys are coming from CD, in theory, if we're just doing like a very kind of dispassionate ranking, this team should come above them.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I love that league. I'm looking at Leaguepedia. Like, just I was like, oh, let me look at some of these.
I like
guys,
that they have a
find
Spanish
their
player
careers.
with their, not a Spanish player, but like necessarily, but a team from a Spanish player from a Spanish team when they are just kind of weirdly Spanish named in the Brazilian league for no reason whatsoever. Yeah. I like that. That's good flavor. But I just have like absolutely zero opinion about Feisty and Zest.
Yeah, they are both Koreans. I just confirmed.
Yeah,
they were both playing.
And like from our experience of getting like Korean TCL top laners, for example, some of them do well, some of them don't. None of them do well for a long time in that we've seen. Like,
so he reminds me of Curdy because he had the highest solo kills in the TCL actually.
Yeah.
Last split, which was kind of funny, but he has high KP, which is something I think Curdy didn't have.
Yeah, high solo kills and high KP is good. Oh, that's
to me that's like the mark for top laners generally. Well, but that was last year. This year with the whole split push thing, I think KP is a lot less important. Yeah, and it's more just solo kills. Feisty also did really well on GXP. So
yeah,
I'm just trying to find like things.
Super League didn't do well personally at EMEA though, if I recall. I think they kind of busted out of EMEA. I think it was just back to the LFL show. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, I personally can't claim to know enough about the EMEA to give a good evaluation of these guys, unfortunately. And when you go to Los Grandes' page, the only player like on their roster on Leaguepedia is just Dutta. They don't have anyone else like.
Yeah, Giant X Pride came 9th to 16th in EMEA summer. So to kind of put a cap after that small technical difficulty on the, I presume, before I disappeared into the void, placement discussion of Los. Where have we landed? What's the consensus here? Because I don't have any. I have very few opinions about them. I would put them somewhere in dumpster, because I don't really have a huge amount of faith here.
I think they're better than Leviathan. I guess the only real question for me is, are they better than Leviathan and still in dumpster, or are they worse than Fluxu and barely make it to Catfish?
It's like, do you think the TCL Korean imports, which have done okay to bad to quite good for a bit in the past, versus like as 404 said, like tier 2 LLA, who looked pretty good like in that setting, can they step it up to here? I don't know. We haven't really seen much evidence of that in the past so far, but there have been a couple of players from the LLA system, Kaze, for example, who, once you bring them to CBLOL, there is a flourishing and, they're not exactly one-to-one on these kind of player types here, but, it's just kind of hard for me to say. I would probably put them above Leviathan in D. That's probably where I'd put them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. We hope to see something from Los, I guess, whatever that is. I look forward to learning about these players. The next one is Loud. Now, we all kind of knew that Griffin wasn't going to stay around here forever. I think we all knew that, if we were honest with ourselves.
I can still be sad about it.
We can still be sad about it, Brent. You're absolutely right. And we are sad about it. He's gone to fly to play in the Zoomer squad. They're kind of the flipping alpha squad at this point. They're not even Gen Z anymore. They're that young.
So young.
So, Loud. And instead, we have brought in Young Jay in the jungle, which is a sick tag. especially considering I believe his name is Young Jae, and he goes by Young Jae, which is sick. And then Bull in the AD carry role, because we were looking for a Root replacement after Root got snatched up by the military. And Bull was not one I'd heard of before, but I looked at his player picture, and his tag is very appropriate. He looks like a brick shithouse. He looks like wide and like he would barrel through me and anyone, which I think is really sick. And that's kind of enough for me to like a player, to be honest.
I don't know if I want my AD carry to be trying to bull through the entire enemy team. So
I want my AD carry to pick Samira and bull through the entire enemy team.
I don't know if it's just the focal length or like the crop they used, or if they just photoshopped his head into a different jersey. For anyone who hasn't
seen it, go and look at his league.
So wide.
He's like,
why is he so
like
wide?
An athlete. He looks like an actual athlete.
He does.
And
that's because he's good looking, by the way. Like
we're
giving.
He just is very broad shouldered.
He's like an idol
as a man.
Yeah. Anyway, but putting that aside, he has played on, approaching half a dozen LCK and Challenger rosters, like Freaks and Afrika and Hammerlife and Brion and blah blah blah, and I believe Young Jae kind of has as well. They both have had stints in tier 1 and 2 LCK of varying degrees, mostly 2. Oh, there we go. RMC has bull morphed, and in his Brion costume. So he's just an incredibly handsome man, I'll be honest. We know that
Brick Shithouse does not adequately describe him.
He just if those are really his shoulders and that's not like just like a weird crop or something, he's a wide guy.
He makes me feel some
he's
type of way.
He's built like a
those are shoulders to carry a team on.
Yes, they are.
He's built like a football international football fullback. Like he looks like a defensive player that's just gonna stop you down on like the line.
Really well built like baseball player or something, like, just like my god. Anyway, so Loud, we have to cap it off that we got these 2 big imports that come in, but we also have Shino in top lane, who people might have seen on Furia and then VKS Academy, I believe, and I believe they bought him out on VKS Academy. Margot in the mid lane, as we mentioned earlier, and Redbird retained as the single retention on the roster in support. So 4x4, given how we kind of felt about Fluxu's attempt at like the double import with Brazilian core, a little bit of young, a little bit of old, it's kind of similar. We've still got Korean import jungle bot, we've got veteran support, we've got a little bit young in Margot and Shino. How are we feeling about this Loud take on the mixed grab bag sort of roster style?
Dude, it could be so sick, but
so sick.
I worry again just about, like, okay, we're gonna do the Mago thing again, and this is not like necessarily to slag off Mago, because I know he's had quite the run of it, but is he ready? And I think that's going to determine so much about this team, right? I mean, not to say anything of, like you said, like, look, you're putting a lot of faith in imports. You're putting a lot of faith, like you said, the double import with some Korean or with some Brazilian sauce. And Redbird, I will say, I don't know, Redbird doesn't like inspire me with confidence as a player, but he does inspire me with confidence as a reasonable voice in the room and an adult. You know what I mean? So I think that could work out very well. But but he is a B tier support as far as like skill is concerned, and nowadays, in my opinion. And meshing, like it, there were times when it took him a while to mesh with Root, right? So we'll see if his playstyle meshes with Bull, right? I don't know, man. There's a lot of question marks. I think this team, if it hits its absolute ceiling, could contend for a title, because I think that the skill, right, the raw skill should be there for this team. Will they mesh, and how long will it take? That is the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
just want to point out something quickly about the coach as well. Raze is their coach. He stayed. He's the guy who replaced Stardust. But he inherited the arguably Belzy roster, right, which had the Robo Tidon sort of thing. So this will be, I guess, his first shot at kind of rebuilding a full roster.
Well, he had like didn't he come in at the same time as the Griffin thing? Wasn't that the same time when they came in, like mid last year?
In which case, yeah. Well, but he inherited the bones of it, like the Robo Root and Redbird.
Yes. Robo Root, I think, was like the structure, and then there's the Griffin was like the.
But this time, like, he's getting his choices. So the Koreans are like players that he's picking from, like Korea, and I think they're the actual 2 only like Korean imports coming in from Korea. The others are all coming in from EMEA.
Just Redbird and Mago are two guys that I'm always rooting for. I really want them to do well. Like I think my biggest concern is we saw throughout the year. I don't think like you said, like obviously Redbird not a top tier sport anymore, but he looked like kind of a little lost, and I think he looked really good in Split 3 with Griffin as the jungler. Like there was like this little bromance between Griffin and Redbird.
Yes.
And I think it did a lot of good for Redbird to have like a jungle that he could like click with and like move through the map with. And I think that's going to be really hard with a new import that's like, you know, from Korea and is going to have like a wildly different play style to where we saw him be most successful last year. And so I am a little down on this Loud roster. Like, yes, the talent is still there, but I think the roster construction, just like as a sum of its parts, there's some anti-synergy, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, it's funny if you look at Young Jae's champion pool as well, because like in SeeEl, he was playing like Zed as one of his most played champions in the jungle. He had like 3 games of the Fury. Now he also had like 4 games of Poppy. So obviously this guy can do a lot of different things. He had like 2 games of jungle Silas as well. So I could see him going the same vein as Griffin in that sort of carry-esque style position where, you know, he's the focal point of the team. I just fear that I don't see synergy in this roster whatsoever. I like before I really want to say it, I'll say it. I think Mago sucked. He's not ready, and he's not going to perform at this level.
No, he sucked past tense. Is he ready now? Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say for sure, but the most reason we saw was that he was not good enough at the level.
Yep. And I will say it, and I don't think anything's going to change. On this roster is not the roster to develop Mago in either. Yeah, Mago just needs to like decide like, okay, it's time for me to carry, and he needs to deliver. But I don't have faith that's going to happen. And when I look at the way Young Jae, you know, Shino as well. Shino in CD looked good, but he didn't look like the best 1v1 top laner. He didn't look like the best top laner, period. I think he was just generally good at everything, but he wasn't the standout for me. And then that's kind of similar to Ripbird. Ripbird, I think, is very solid. He ain't no Frosty. He ain't no Curry. You know, he ain't no Trimby. So I'm seeing a lot of good, not great. And that to me speaks to then synergy. But where's the synergy coming from? Bo and Young Jae are new coming in. They didn't play on the same teams either. They don't have pre-existing synergy. So I think this is at least in the cup phase, it's Young Jae or bust for this roster. And when you're putting all your hopes on one player, granted, you know, it's like Brazil's jungle pool has some good players, has some not so great players. There is a potential for Young Jae to pop off. We saw it with Tatu, but Tatu had a team around him. I'm going to be super negative. I actually put Loud in my D tier.
Woof. That is tough.
I'm not sure if I'm there. I'm good with C.
I don't know about that.
That's fair. That's fine.
I'm also pretty down on Redbird. I don't really have a reason to think higher of Mago yet, as we said. Like, I liked what I saw from Shino when we saw him come in for like a few weeks on Furia with Stina and like kind of a stepped in. I think it was like post Destroy or whatever, or post TZK, one of these two. And like he's been on BKS Academy. I have a lot of faith in BKS Academy's developmental chops. So, but I don't know if we're not yet seeing him like be obviously the hottest prospect out of CDE for top. I don't know if we're gonna see like if as you say, if this Loud roster is the place to grow these talents. I just don't think Loud has a track record of achieving that. They don't seem to grow talent. They seem to just acquire it and then lose it if they do, right? It's like so I don't know if their off seasons have been a stunning leap forward, cool. And while the map is so sort of fragmented and isolated and people are working out what to do with the season, and there's probably more room for individual pop-offs and the one guy who has a pool that really fits what the meta becomes or whatever, it's volatile enough that Loud could capitalize on it. But I don't think this is I don't think this is the final iteration of this era of Loud, you know what I mean? Like, I think they're going to start plugging in new players when they can. They're going to try and build around Young Jae and Bull and then try and get better pieces around them, I would say, to be honest. That's what I'd like to see them do, to be honest, if we're going to have Young Jae and Bull here. Do seem cool.
We think they're better than Luxu.
No, I don't. I'd probably put them below Fluxu, but above, I'd probably put them in Catfish below Fluxu.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have them D tier, so I obviously have them in the books.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's hopeful, but it's not too hopeful because like properly hopeful would be like here, but it's again like it's could we've seen everyone knows we've all seen the lack of effective imports into CBLOL for a long time, and it seemed like we were moving away from that. We've now had two teams kind of go back to that. This split, maybe we'll have learned a lesson and do it better. Maybe we'll have not learned a lesson and continue for it to be relatively underwhelming, unless you're a croc, which is
I mean, 3 out of the 4 teams we put in C and D have done double imports.
Yeah, so we're I've never been a fan of this strategy, and I think not many of us are like super vocally a fan of it. So we're not going to be big fans of this as a strategy necessarily. Okay, now we have to talk about Pain, I'm afraid. So Pain went into the off season and they had Roamer, which RMC certainly was ready to burn at the stake, and a lot of Pain fans were as well. And Weiser, who had continued to have ups and downs. Sometimes he still looked like great, but the definitely didn't end on a high. It seemed like he was burning out a little bit, and didn't really make an impact, I think, in the latter part of the year. So they ditched them both, and they brought back Robo and Tinones. They brought back the original top mid duo.
I never thought we'd see the world.
Nobody
this would happen again.
Thought this would be the timeline, and yet
I mean, I dreamed of this, but I didn't expect it to happen. Like, they called him Judas, man.
Yeah, like, they were mad. They were real mad about that.
Sports fans famously extremely fickle.
Everything and time heals all wounds.
Yeah. And the second thing, which heals all wounds, is winning. We'll see if they can do that.
That is also very true. Possibly even more true for Woe4.
I mean, the problem is I dared to dream of this. Never thought we'd see it. I never even thought to dream of what actually the other news that just dropped. As of recording, today is the 12th of January. As of this morning, we got other news about their roster, and this news was terrible. Because Robo and Tinones joined Pain on the assumption they'd be playing with Titan. Curry is playing because of Titan. This team is Titan's team. Titan has now been suspended indefinitely by Pain Gaming due to potential lawsuit and claims
alleged misconduct. We can say,
alleged misconduct.
We won't cover the details here on this podcast.
If you're watching this podcast, you'll almost certainly have seen it. It's findable on social media. It is alleged misconduct at this time, and it is gone in bed.
If not, look up either Shotana's Twitter handle or Sheep Sports Brazil.
Yeah. They'll all be.
You'll find it
to some degree.
Bottom line is, it is not good.
It's very bad. And it's the second very bad that we've had for a major AD carry in the last kind of year, which is not a good trend that we're starting here.
Who played for Red? How interesting.
We don't need to blame Red for this.
I should take that back. Red has nothing to do with any of this. It's just really unfortunate that Red got they both played on Red has done nothing. Red has done nothing wrong. Red has done absolutely nothing wrong.
But the result of this is that Marvin, the Academy AD carry, has been promoted into the starting AD carry role. Now, RMC is our resident Academy knower.
We saw Marvin last year on Fluxy W7M, so we all seen him play.
We've all seen Marvin play. It was on a Fluxy team where nobody had fun. Like we talked about Fu, pretty similar situation for Marvin. Do you think, RMC, though, that it was like a Fu kind of that he is fully trapped and competing for the ELO Hell award, or do you think Marvin just wasn't more like Margo and maybe not quite ready for where he was, or what's your opinion on Marvin at this point?
I think Marvin's just a typical promotion that we see a lot, where they get picked up by a team that isn't ready or available to develop them. I think besides Furia and VKS, very few other teams are good at actually developing their talent when they actually come out to CBLOL. So
now Red now can be
and Red,
but only as of last split, basically.
Well, if you think about the Titan Red that came up, like that roster with Titan Aegis. I mean, Aegis was kind of younger and newer as well when that happened. So
that's fair.
I think Red has traditionally done well. It's just that we had such a long era of the
Red
Aegis
Yeah, like the Aegis era, right?
Mediocre.
Yeah, after Aegis came out, it felt like it sold out for a little bit. But historically, I think they've done well. I think Red will continue to do well with developing, like they did last year with their current roster. But yeah, Marvin, I think he had a bit of a rough time. I don't think he's as beaten down and worn out as Fu.
Hope not.
But I fear he has lost a bit of that spark that he had in Academy. So reminder to everybody, Marvin got promoted last year from Academy at the time before OCD. He won Academy in his first split playing. First split, he won it. And in his second split of playing Academy, he won America's Challengers. So he beat the North American team and then got promoted. So this guy's really young. He's had like 1 year of Tier 1 experience, 1 year of Tier 2 experience. So now moving on to Pain Gaming, this is a desperation promotion. Titan got suspended. They needed somebody immediately. I worry for Marvin a lot because this is not a good position to develop in. And I think he needs to be developed. So I feel like this might be another Duda position where it's like, okay, is this the right team to develop him? It's bad for Marvin, or it's worrying for Marvin. It's bad for Pain because Pain, if you had the Robo Karaoke Tinone's Titan Curry roster, to me, that was going to be the best team bar none. Like, Kate Stars, watch out. No, like these guys have experience, they've got skill. The meta is perfect for them.
It had the potential to be just utterly dominant.
Hold on, I got some. We'll get to it. I want RMC to finish his point, but I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm on board with that one either, Bren.
And on the Marvin.
I mean, it was the hill I was going to die on, but that hill's gone.
Mr. Pain fan.
Marvin stepping in, though, takes the heart of Pain away. And now I'm worried that you've got Robo Tinones, who were expected to have a really strong bot lane to play around. And now you've got Marvin. And Marvin is no Titan. Like Marvin, I don't think can even develop into Titan within a year because Titan was a major shot caller for the team as well. Like he was the heart and soul of the team. So yeah, this really hurts Pain. The bones are still there. I think Robo Tinones will still do well for what they need to do. But they just don't have, I think, enough firepower. And Robo is going to have to pull like a loud performance like he did last year. And I fear it'll end the same way where they'll be good-ish, but certainly not a top contender.
Yeah, like the last split of Loud Dynasty where it was just kind of dropping off.
In that split 3, Loud, where we had been talking so much about, dude, Robo's playing like the best league of his career. Yeah. Like he's playing so good. He's like all year. He's like he's kept the high ceiling, but he's gotten rid of the wacky, insano decision making and just started locking in and like beating people's teeth in, and that was great. He started to lose that step. I feel towards the end of the year, he started to go back to making some of those kind of decisions where you're like, I don't know why we're doing this.
Yeah.
And here's my other thing about Tin is like, cool. Tin is back. You know, the mid lane pool is not astounding. You know, it's not great. But Tin looked so washed when he retired. Like I got why he retired.
In his defense, it was the 80 carry mid meta, and Tin Owens has never done well with 80 carries. So hopefully we're back towards mages. If we're back towards mages, I still think Tin Owens will be a top 3.
Yeah, he was looking mega.
Maybe and like
here's kind of a point I have on the Marvin thing. Look, it could. I'm not saying one is right or wrong. Because I agree, this could be, I think in terms of the way I'm looking at the Marvin thing, in terms of the pressure on him, right? Yep. Whether they're like is or isn't, I wouldn't like, if I'm putting myself in Marvin's shoes, I can have Tinones and Robo, you know, and Karaoke and everyone just pat me on the back and say, hey, this happens. It's all good, man. We are behind you no matter what. We understand this is a shitty situation. And that could all be true. And they could all mean it. And they could all act on those words. But it is going to take a lot of mental fortitude for Marvin to not, you know, just kill himself for every mistake when this is supposed to be the promised split for Pain when they finally get back on top, right? With this just utterly dominant roster. But then the flip side of that is, look, if this does work, right? Like in theory, you have at worst solid. I refuse to believe that Tino's going to be straight up bad. If that is, I will be surprised. Maybe you guys won't, but I will be surprised if he's straight up bad. No one on this roster is bad. Everyone I think will be, you know, like at worst top 6 in there. You know what I mean? Like it's not, there's not gonna have one part that's just floundering. So in theory, if you can be just a CL sort of 80 carry and just show up and click, right? If nothing else, you have experience in every single role. The game should kind of play itself.
Yeah, you do have, in the same way that you do have, like, they were expecting to have Titan down there, and that's kind of like, if there is an expectation that is unfairly held, that's not going to be a good environment. But Marvin now has, like, the most championships possible. like
Yeah.
above him on the map, just like a wall of trophies, just like holding down. Hopefully,
and like how we got here off this, you could argue this is an ideal scenario for an AD carry to develop in.
It's a bit more
kind of the flip side.
It's a bit more Mortius-esque, where like you can just be like the promotion, and if the team believes in you and gives you room to play and to grow, you've got this like safety net around you that's all doing their thing well, and you can just click, you can just play your role, you can just farm to your 7th item and be like, okay, cool. You guys like decide what's going on here.
Now I get to play Farm Simulator.
He does have to play with Curry, and we saw what Curry was like initially. Titan and Curry are uniquely fit well for each other, as we found out.
Yeah. That's the real tragedy of all this.
Can Marvin, does he have like the energy to play with Curry? Does Curry have the wherewithal to play around this different AD carry that he now has, and not just start sending it and pro-delting it into bad plays or whatever? Like, there's the bot lane worries me because we've just not really seen Curry with anyone else, right? And it was so tough to even gel with Titan initially as well.
I think Fluxu W7M did him a disservice last year, because back in Pain Gaming Academy, he was just developing his laning in Split 2 when they won Challengers Americas. Go to Fluxu W7M, he was just getting smashed by everybody in lane, right? Prods was not helping because Prods kept roaming.
Yeah.
And even if he is a CL AD carry, it just clicked, later on. I'm just looking at the bot lane competition he's up against. If we think back to last year, there was another just click, team fight style AD carry who had bad laning phases. His name was Snaker. And we low-key lynched him, crucified him in our rankings later on. And Snaker's experience, he's really good at team fighting. If he couldn't survive laning phase against, the likes of IU and Jojo, Rebello and Frosty, Morteus and
that, for sure.
I'm very worried for Marvin.
I would like to caveat that a little bit, RMC. Okay. Part of the pain with Snaker on that the Asuru's roster, right? It was Asuru's AD carry, was that we saw that he can do it, because he had that one playoffs run where he just blew everyone up.
Like 5 games in a row, he could do it.
Doesn't that make it worse for Marvin?
Every other game was like horrible.
No, because we haven't seen. I feel like we haven't seen that Marvin can do it at the top level yet. We know he can do it in. We know
he's
It's a perspective thing. It's how you feel about the expectations.
Yeah, right? The expectations, right? Like I had no expectations for Snaker, and I was like, whatever. He's a guy. He shows up and he clicks things, and he's like he kind of just plays utility carries. Like, he can't really take over a game. He's there to play Senna and Ashe, and it's whatever. Yeah. And then he showed up in that one playoffs, and for like 5 to 6 straight games, he just kicked everyone's teeth, and we're like, hold on, this guy's good at the video game. What? And then the next split, we're like, cool, this guy's good at the video game. Like, we're gonna see some progress. And then he went back to being a bum.
That's been a bum.
Yeah. Okay. So to make this clear, like, I'm not saying that Marvin's gonna be a bum. Like, my fear for Marvin is concern for him. Not that however Marvin performs, I am simply concerned.
Coming from. I'm saying that like Marvin has only. I feel like Marvin has only upside, right? Because like, we have not seen him perform at the CBLOL level, and we attribute a lot of that to he was on genuinely probably the worst roster any of us have like ever watched. It was really
I saw that Kaboom.
We watched BRTT on Los. That one's scaring way worse.
BRTT Los Grandes split.
Yeah, man, it was.
That was pretty early on when I was watching, and I was like, I don't understand why people are like so mad at this guy. What's the expectation?
Okay.
Then someone had to lay out the lore.
Let's cut through this. We need to rank them. We need to rank Pain.
Sorry.
I also think it's A. I do. The changes at the season changes, I think, have maybe some of the biggest potential to buff this roster.
Yep.
Because if you told me just like into last split's meta that we're putting Tinones and Robo back on Pain, I would have been like, okay. I think I was like, Robo's pretty good, but I was like, I'm feeling good about Silence right now.
Over Romer? I'll take it.
I know you'd put him over Romer. You'd put like I don't know what's.
I take you over Romer.
Yeah, you'd put Jewel over
You'd
Romer.
put Training Dummy in over Romer.
Put Engo over Romer. You know. So like, but like
it sounds like the agreement is A. I think they're B because I have no clue what to make of them. That makes them very Brazilian. They are the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
Yeah, I think they'd have to have internal problems to be B, which is a very, very real possibility, basically.
Very possible. Extremely possible.
If they have internal problems, that could easily drag this team down. But Carioca could also just decide to be the MVP again, as he does like every 2 or 3 splits, and then just be like, well, cool. I'm going to gank Robo 3 times and then just like be a great jungler and I can't lose. So we'll see. I think A is a reasonable place to put them here, but there is too much question to let them ascend back up to Sheesh, as I'm sure they probably could have been. I probably still would have argued for A, but I think I would have accepted Sheesh if we were tightening. But okay, Red Canids. It's the same roster. Second place Red Canids, who I believe thrashed 100 Thieves at the conference, like the record show once again. But was also kind of thrashed by FlyQuest, as you know, many such cases. So this same new roster, we still have FNB. Doom is now Curse, as far as I can tell, which was his original tag, and his team just didn't call him Doom and kept calling him Curse, so now he's Curse again. Which
that's really funny.
Okay, I'm sad that we don't have a guy whose name is capital letters Doom, because I thought that was
Doom.
Funny. I enjoyed saying Doom.
Was the best tag.
Especially, dude, we had Avengers Doomsday coming out. We could have made so many jokes.
Yeah, they ruined it for us, to be honest.
It's opportunities, yeah.
So, and then we have Kaze, of course, in the mid lane, and then Rebello, Frosty in bot lane with TikTokers in the coach role. And we heard a lot of
roster which did not change from start to finish.
Yes, including coach and on all of it. So we heard some very lovely things about TikTokers from Peter Dunn at the episode we did at the end of last year, and about the prospects of Red, prospects of Kaze. Like, you know, there was a lot to love about this, and Curse. I think that one of the favorite things that I'd like heard about a player last year. There are a lot of cool things we heard from people like Tatu from the VKS project. One of the favorite things I actually heard was Tucker's basically saying that the best thing about having Curse as a jungler is you just tell him to do something. If he does something wrong, you tell him like not to do it, and he never does it again. And he just like, you tell him the right thing to do, and he stops doing the wrong thing and just does the right thing from now on. And it doesn't take any more effort than that. Like the most coachable player of all time, perhaps. So I just really thought that was like a very cool like aspect of a player to know about. So Red Canids, second place last time. Amid, it must be said, a crumbling Furia, a sort of weird a weird pain that was kind of somehow less than the sum of their parts by the end of it. And even the parts weren't that good at times, depending on if you ask.
It has a name, Trajan. It has a name.
So, and then like, but managed to hold off a Surging Loud, and took a game off VKS, I believe, in the final.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned, and we'll mention again, thrashed 100 Thieves at conference. So, what do we think about Red Canids? Because they were top 2 last time. Are we sheeshing? Are we acing? How much confidence do we have?
Definitely sheesh.
I think we're sheeshing, dude.
Definitely sheesh.
Any sheeshers? Any red sheeshers?
They should be stronger. Like, there's part of me that wants to be like conservative and be like, you know, they had some like really weird series to get there. But when they won, they looked really good.
Yeah.
Like,
and they were growing so clearly. Like they were.
Yeah, like there should be growth. So they should be better than last time. And so like I want to believe that like with more time to grow and like be a more mature player, like Kaze is gonna go from like I'm gonna kill you in lane, and if I like once I kill you in lane, like I will win the game, to like I can kill you in lane. But I don't necessarily have to win the game. Like I can just take over whenever. Like I hope that's the case. Like I think this roster should be really good.
Yeah, I think the Kaze growth is what I'm looking for most, just to like round out the parts of his game that were a bit rough. Like the raw talent is undeniable and massive, but just to like round him out as a player a little bit. That's like the thing I want to see most out of Red, because like Rebello's trajectory is great. FNB is the GOAT. Like he's not literally the GOAT, but he kind of will be soon if he keeps playing like this. Like,
I mean, he's gone to America. He's unlocked his next level.
Yeah,
right?
And we saw him absolutely batter American top laners, and like Curse, like is the trajectories are clear there. But Kaze like is started so far ahead in this one a few specific aspects, and I just want to see that like develop into the full package. And he's not far off, but like that's what I'm gonna be looking for sure.
My eyes are actually still on Rebello. That's the scary part. Like you're talking about his trajectory being amazing. I don't think he's anywhere near his peak. Like I think Rebello could be like, can still grow even further.
Yeah, I'm really glad they
shocked me
because there was chatter off season they might have switched him for someone. I don't remember who, but like there was talk about maybe rumors about Red debating over a different AD carry to Rebello, and they ended up sticking with Rebello was the word, and I'm really glad they did. I think that was a good choice.
And with Rebello too, I think what shocked me the most was that in CD he didn't look anything like this. Like it was
you were like he's just like here, he's fine. And like
he's fine. Like, I have nothing bad to say about him, but like I also didn't think he was CBLOL already. And then he came in first 2 games a little bit quiet, but after I guess like
there was that Caitlyn game that everyone turned on him in that Caitlyn game. I remember he positioned badly in one game, and everyone was like, "He's useless. He's garbage." Get him out of here.
I did say that was just a bad game. That was uncharacteristic of him. But
that was a bad game.
Yeah. And then after that, he just popped off, and he's just been growing massively. And I'd love to see that growth continue. And that's something that I don't know. We can say that of a lot of players when we see them perform this well. It's a lot of times like, oh, we hope they maintain, or they can keep that level. But no, with Rebello, like I still see further growth from him, or potential for further growth from him. So I think if Red ends up winning, it'll be because Rebello continues growing a lot more. Like Kaze is, as you said, really good. I don't know how much more he can really grow or how much bigger that lead can get. But Rebello can grow. And if he does, I think that's what they needed in my head to be better than Furia. Because I think Furia, they've got Gigo in the top lane, who we know can be the best top laner on any given day. Tatu is the best jungler right now. It feels like bar none. Even Samus is good. But then Kaze is better than Tuts. Tuts is struggling. But right now, it feels like Ayu is better than Rebello. If Rebello gets better than Ayu, that's when I think I put Red above Furia consistently. As it stands right now, it feels like the ceiling's higher for Furia, but Furia's ability to crap is
legendary at this point. It's becoming
dude. Like I'm a Pain fan, and I got shocked by how Furia did. So
my thing is Red is like they're as a team they're so good at certain aspects of the game, like probably the best team at like very specific aspects of what they do. But they have the potential to be like the best at everything, and I think they can there's a chance they could realize it. They'll be a very scary team, but for now I do agree. Like I think they're just below Furia.
I would also put them just below Furia, R4 Furia in concurrence.
I'm in concurrence. I feel like, to me, and tell me if you guys agree with this characterization, I feel like, sorry about if you can hear the power tools going off outside my house.
That's all right.
I feel like Rebello has almost mastered the shut up and click part of the AD carry. And if he wants to, like, a big thing of what would take Red from like above Furia is if he can turn it into in-game only Titan, right? The guy who doesn't just show up and clip, but the guy who actually takes you over the edge because he takes some 50-50 that you're like, why in God's green earth did you? Oh, okay.
And this is the part where like this is why I kind of said like both Brunsey and Titan were on Red. Not to put blame on Red, but more that Red keeps finding and creating these AD carries who end up being or not finding. I guess they got Brunsey from Loud.
Loud,
they're just I don't know if it's the team culture or something, but their AD carries generally actually develop really well. So I'm hoping Rebello, like you said, in game only
did win on Red also.
Oh, true.
To tie the narrative together.
Yeah.
Rebello, so I have hopes for Rebello.
Rebello does have the eyes of a killer. I will say that. I think he does. He's got the instinct. I think there's big things in his future. Okay.
I love when you say that like metaphorically, but I'm looking at his picture. He looks like such a nice young gentleman.
No, he's got the eyes of a killer. I'm afraid. You've seen some of like the walkouts when they're like panning past the players and stuff. He looks like a genuine terrifying.
He's locked in, man.
He's locked in a big way.
Look at his photo on League.
But I think Red Furia, those two could go either way. So to me, like those two, like it's okay. My ranking, spoiler, we've got one more team to go. Kate Stars, Furia, Red are just like neck and neck. So whichever way that flips, I'm fine with it.
It's all good. Which does kind of bury the lead. VKS champions, Kai Wing owners, 5-year plan havers, Swiss slight underperformers, but also insane travel tragedy havers. So, and would have loved for them to beat BLG when it was certainly the time for anyone to beat BLG, but we sadly couldn't get there. And I think no one's more upset about that than SeeEl is, to be fair.
Yeah, and I think SeeEl does make mistakes a lot of times, especially the first time he walks into something. But one thing he does very well is he learns. Yeah. So he screwed up this time. If he gets another international, I have no doubt that he will perform better and he won't be making the same mistakes. Yes. He'll make different mistakes.
Yeah, and to be clear, to remind everybody who doesn't know, the roster is Bowl in top lane, unlocked, Bowl brackets unleashed in top lane.
Bowl unleashed.
Bowl unleashed.
Can I just say something about Bowl? Because it cracks me up that all of last year, the narrative was Bowl needs to learn to stop playing carries and play for the team. And he did that at the end beautifully.
Yeah.
And now 2026 is looking like, guys, we need a carry to top.
Do we have any Aurelia mains? Any Aurelia players?
Yeah.
No? Only a Poppy player? Okay, well, that's a shame. So they have again, like they were early but not wrong on Bowl. And picked up the Aurelia one trick while he was still very mid, turned him into Bowl Unleashed, and now he's got the Aurelia pocket for level 20 top lane 1v1s. So SeeEl does it again, and more fool us. And that's just because they lost Gigo, which wasn't the plan. You know what I mean? Like they never intended to lose Gigo. Okay, so they've got Bowl in top lane, Bowl Unleashed in top lane, Desamis, otherwise known as Bobbers, and I have no idea why. I haven't watched enough of Beyond the Stars to yet work out why they call him Bobbers, but I love it. Miryu in mid lane in an era of Kazes and Miryus. So Miryu is he's just the best.
He's so good.
And then Morteus,
domestically the best. I think he crumbled
internationally. Domestically the best. And then Morteus and now Kaiwing in bot lane. So would anyone like to? Is there any reason why we're not putting them at the top of Sheesh? Would anyone like to favor anyone above them? I personally wouldn't. But
to me, this is right now. This is the best team until proven otherwise.
I think so. Yeah.
That's the Trimby leaving. Obviously, is a blow, but like picking up Kaiwing, like I don't think they had that much of a backstep.
I prefer this. I'll be honest. Yeah. I have my own problems with.
You have the issue of like we have to plug a new guy into the SeeEl system and give him the time to like learn how it functions. But Kaiwing's really good. Like I watched that CFO team. I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy is really good.
Yeah, and I think
literally top 8 of the world. Like, come on, man.
And they shouldn't need to. Like, it seems like they had Trimby to kind of maybe bridge a step in the development where they needed like a more experienced voice, and you could see in the behind the scenes stuff that Trimby was very much trying to be that. I don't think he's necessarily the best fit for that, and like I have the problems with his play, and I think like I like Trimby. I was really happy for the Rogue LEC Championship with Trimby, but I do prefer Kaiwing on this team, I'll be honest. I think that they can move away to have the Samus now more established, to have Morteus gradually growing in that way. Who knows about Bowl, to be honest? He does always seem like too soft of a boy, but that's just because he's like incredibly like a beautiful person.
No man, this is his time. This is
probably
they're always coming back.
Aesthetic determinism that I'm using here. But I think that Trimby got them, bridged them through the second year, and overperformed expectations, got the title. But I like this development. I think I prefer this direction. If they could have kept Trimby as well, I still would have preferred them to take Kaiwing, honestly, if they had the choice.
Yeah, I think you bring up something kind of very interesting tangentially, which is because, like you said, Trimby, say what you want about him, he was trying to be kind of the adult in the room, right? When there were those potential moments of growth. And I think something that they will have to figure out, and I don't think it'll be seamless, is who's going to be that new, adult voice in the room, right? And then, like you said, it should be probably Desamis, right? He kind of feels like the guy who's taken on the mascot of this team, right? He's the most experienced Brazilian player on that roster in terms of consistent top. I know Bull's been around longer, but he's been kind of in and out, so I don't really count that, right? But I think, I don't know, it might not even be like one person who is that. Maybe it's sort of by committee, right? Because again, this core is starting to build together and gel together. And even Morteus wasn't in the full-time roster. He'd been in the Cade system for a while, right? So I think that will be something interesting to watch in the behind-the-scenes videos.
Does anybody know if they are doing the coaching thing where like coaches can pause the game?
In CBLOL?
Right. I did not talk about that,
but just LPL that they're doing that in.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, was that confirmed for any other region?
I think it's only confirmed for LPL so far.
Okay.
We didn't actually end up talking about first selection yet, and we can maybe like touch on it briefly at the end. But like, I think that's the only change that's global
for everybody.
Because I was just thinking, if they do that coaching thing, I could see Smalley just stepping in and commenting.
Yeah,
sure. Like Smalley's been
and literally just pep talking, not talking. There's no strategy being confirmed here. Like, you guys know what you're doing, but like, can we shape the fuck up right now? Like, can we?
Samus, can you put your shirt on? Maybe put a sweater on because you're kind of going too well. You know,
your hands are a bit cold. Clearly, like it's I don't know.
Yeah.
I do kind of feel that like VKS does sort of need like a Ted Lasso in that sense. Like that guy does not. He doesn't need to know the strategy. He doesn't need to like. He doesn't need to give you like the tactics and the coaching, but like just tap the poster, tell everybody to believe, and it'll all be good.
Does seem like a great I think the word SeeEl used was culture leader, and that seems like a good fit because you can see again from the behind the scenes that he is taking a very active mentor kind of position with the players like behind the stage and very involved. So they have built that system. They've got it a little bit off the rift, like extra off the rift necessarily. It's just about having that leadership on the rift to make that like critical decision, which I think the Samus can definitely be that person. Like at some stage, if he's already there now, cool. And if not, then I think he'll get there. We have ended up with no Brazilians on the Brazilian tier list.
We may have to revisit how a tier list is supposed to work.
Would anyone like
to be like a bell curve?
Would anyone like to pitch any amendments here?
No, I'm fine with this.
Because the only one I would have put in Brazil was Fluxu, but again, I'm happy with top of C for them, top of Catfish for them, and I think that
I would have only pitched Pain based on perceived.
Because like the uncertainty
turmoil.
around them as being kind of the worst timeline or one of the worst outcomes. I think pushes them definitely down into B, but that's hopefully not the timeline
I think they're
that we're
still
living
too
in.
solid. Yeah.
And then like both, and we'll see which of Los and Leviathan turns out to be the best team in the league, or like just weirdly good. We'll see if Loud pans out. There's definitely a lot of that bottom four. There's a lot of movement that could happen there for sure. I feel pretty good about the top four, to be honest. It really just depends on where Furia moves, kind of in the sheesh to top of ace maybe bracket. But I think the rest of them for me are pretty solid.
I think it is very clearly defined like who the good teams and who the bad teams are. Which
there's a literal gulf
like this. There's just a gap. There is a genuine gap between Pain Gaming, even with like bad juju and bad turmoil or whatever that could be going on, is still just clearly heads and tails a better constructed team than Fluxu.
Yeah,
and so like. I my big wonder for the thing is like which of our bottom four teams bridges that gap and like gets up into B tier or A tier.
Okay, let's move on here. So it will be snipped and I'm sure it'll be posted, so you'll see it go up at some stage. Let's very quickly touch on first selection because we didn't touch on it. And RMC, I know you have
It's fake.
Opinion.
It's fake.
It's fake. Tell us why first selection is fake.
So what first selection is, they're now decoupling first pick from blue side. So they're going to split it now. So one team gets to pick whether they want first pick. The other team gets to pick whether they want blue or red. Now I call it fake because statistically we know that blue side is slightly buffed, slightly favored. Realistically, the map is mirrored. So the only difference are the objectives, Baron and Dragon, the pits, and how you access them. So red side has a more easy access to the Dragon pit, but they get back access into Baron. So champions like Misfortune, for example, enjoy red side around Baron fights because you can just hide behind the wall and just, bullet time across it, that sort of deal. So those are sort of the advantages, and it's mirrored. So blue side gets the advantage on the Dragon, or the back side access from the Dragon, and front side access to Baron, which is easier to walk into. It's very minor. Like, are there ways to capitalize on it? Maybe. Have we seen teams actually do that? No. We've never seen teams really capitalize on the fact that, okay, I'm on red side this time, I'll get this or that. So will some coach create a strategy around it? Maybe. But I just think it's fake. I don't think it's that significant. I think you're just, anytime you get set selection, you pick blue side. If you don't, you're low-key trolling. So what we're going to see is instead of B1 first pick, it's just going to be R1 first pick. And us casters, me specifically, I know I'm going to trip over this. I'm going to call first pick B1 even when it's red side picking first.
Didn't Worlds end up exactly 50-50 on side win rate?
Maybe.
I think I read that stat somewhere, is that like Worlds ended up exactly blue side, red side, had exactly like a 50-50 win rate.
Sure. And if that's the case, then to me it's even worse, isn't it? Like it's just so fake.
Well, I like having the option, right? If it does nothing, then fine, we haven't changed. Yeah. We're still playing the same game we love. But if it does offer even a niche tactical application, I think just having the option is fun. Yeah. It makes it more akin to like traditional sports leagues where you get to, like the NFL, right? You get to choose whether or not you want to kick or receive, or you get to choose which side of the field you want. And obviously, most teams are going to choose whether they kick or receive because their game plan is more dependent on that. There will be one
that is more impactful. But
yeah, it's probably like the reason they added the change because they saw that and were like, "That's neat. Let's split it in half." And like, it's generally probably pretty harmless. The only time if it ends up as you kind of say RMC that it might end up as literally just like whoever wins the toss always just picks side selection or first pick, and they never pick side selection. At that point, it becomes just kind of obviously pointless, and then it's like a system for a system's sake, at which point you could probably just put it back so you're not it kind of just illuminates that it's pointless if everyone always does one option, and then that doesn't look good. At that point, I don't want them to keep doing it. But if assuming someone can be like, well, we really want to play through bot side way more than we even want like a power pick because we don't think there's a power pick that we have on this patch that's good enough. So we're gonna take red side so we can definitely play to dragon easily.
My blue screen fell.
Super's house is falling down, which is a shame.
No, all I can say is Brent's on blue side, so he's maybe side isn't a
yeah, Brent has tried to stay on blue side, but has been tossed into the void, sadly.
So you're right, Brent. Worlds was 50-50 on blue versus red. What's funny is that T1 won more on, or they won 10 games on red side. They got put red side a lot more.
T1 did.
So part of that 50-50 is also because like teams like T1
because they just
ended up being chucked on red side and still won.
His red side was saved by T1 at Worlds, which again there's so many variables to this that like you get to the point where there's no reasonable way to analyze. So hopefully it becomes a neat thing that just adds like another talking point and doesn't become casters and analysts spending 2 minutes talking about a very minor decision and overspinning them, winding themselves up over quite a minor choice, and just be like, that's interesting. They pick this, maybe they'll do that, and move on, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be more
spending
than that.
5 minutes. I'm gonna have like a Google sheet that like has like analytics and stats for everything about first selection,
and it's just like
this is gonna be a talking point.
Just nonsense, just scrolling past.
Next year on our first podcast, I'm gonna like check how many times people picked, did not pick first pick, got second pick, and picked red side and lost. And that's going to be the talking point.
Give us the stat, and we will review at the end of the year.
Rock remind me in 1 year.
Don't ask Rock for anything, bro. You know what?
I missed half of that conversation. I don't know if you saw. My headset died, so I went to grab the cable, and then my blue screen fell. And
it's fine. It was basically concluding on the same point. That we're in
cool, great,
there.
Awesome.
So nobody get too excited. Essentially, don't get too excited about first selection. Hopefully, coaches use it and it's neat. And that's what we could hope for. Now, I am going to fish out the questions. We're going to move on and do the mailbag quickly. I don't have pictures of them because my bus was late, so I was late to get here. I didn't take snips of them. But we're going to run through these as a final piece right here. So the first one is from Fangioni, I believe. SeeEl and Titan said that on their first training session, Pain stomped VKS. Do you think VKS will keep their momentum in this first split, considering how short it is? So do we think that VKS are going to come in strong with the Kailing signing?
Yeah, 100%.
They should.
They definitely should. There's no reason for us to be like, actually, they're going to do terrible.
But there is a track record of VKS starting slow.
Yeah, but
true.
That was with Kissy when it, so
I do think like
terrible yet.
No, he wasn't either. Kissy doesn't deserve
I think
that much.
this split's roster construction is just so different from split one last year. Like we have seen the actualized like we're not looking at like they poached Gigo. What do we do with Bowl? Like what are we doing? Like we know this guy's good. We're not like, oh, is Morteus an upgrade over Smiley? We don't know. Like, we know this guy's good. So, like, I think I have a lot of faith that like they understand now what their strong game plans are. They've only had to make some minor changes, and they're just gonna come out and like start punching people in the face.
Yeah, I think they'll keep the momentum. The question for me isn't about Cade stars. The question to me is about Fury and Red, because I think they also kept Red gets to keep their momentum as well, and Fury is looking for the upswing. They didn't change much in their roster. Their player rosters are identical as well.
Yeah.
So if anything, this first split, I think, or the cup, will be a lot more competitive than a lot of the sort of first splits we're used to seeing, where a lot of the top end have kept all their main players. So I don't know if Cade will win it. I do think there'll be stiff competition, like we talked about, but I do think they should still be good. I'm not expecting Cade to kind of keel over and die.
No, I wouldn't expect that. Dark Knight asks, how long until Pain starts losing and fractures into 3 factions fighting for power inside the org? Now, this was made on January the 8th, so is therefore now out of date, sadly. How could they know? The 3 factions being Robo Tinones, Zero Carioca, and Titan Curry. Now, one of those factions has already been kind of removed. So it kind of, honestly, it kind of feels like Robo and Tinones versus the coaching staff would be if there was going to be a fracture, just because, like, if anyone's going to have an ego, it's probably going to be them, because, as you say, they're like the most decorated players of all time.
And they also know that, like, it's like the Thanos quote, it's like, and where did that bring you? Back to me.
Back to me.
And, I mean, like the fact that Tinones retired for one split and then came back doesn't hugely shock me. And props to Robo for soldiering on and playing some of his best league in that time. So, do we think Pain is going to the core of the question here is, do we think Pain is actually going to get worse over the course of this split, or better?
Are they gonna fracture and start infighting? I think weirdly enough, it is alleged, whatever the things that are going on with Titan, but it will have the unintended side effect of, like, he's the loudest voice in the room in whatever room he is in. And we have removed this, and so I think there's just that in of itself is this other thing that we can focus our woes into, and Pain as a collective will be like, they don't have the big loudest faction being loud and like being a faction, like they'll just
ultimately,
I think they have something that's other. They can just focus on themselves.
You're gonna play for Robo and Tinones because you have a reliable source there, and you're gonna try to help Marvin as much as you can and do what we can for the guy, but ultimately he's probably not going to be the focal point.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, I think Zero got promoted to manager, right? So he's not even like the head coach anymore. It's Sarkis, I think, who's stepping in. And from what I've seen, at least from the behind the scenes stuff and whatnot, Sarkis seems pretty like he's not, and maybe it's because Zero was there. He didn't seem like the type to kind of force like his opinion through the way Zero was.
I bet that had something to do with it.
Yeah, so maybe it'll be interesting to see how Sarkis adapts, because Carioca is very non-confrontational in the first place. Like, he played with Robo and Tinones in the past, and he always just kind of defers to like whoever
won a title
needs to get things done. Yeah, actually, like
but you wonder if, because like that was still when Carioca, I mean, he wasn't a rookie, but he was much younger in the league even at that time compared to Robo and Tinones. You wonder if this time off this time apart has made him be like, actually no, I'm kind of nice.
But even with Shinkido and with Titan, like you see that when Titan speaks up, he kind of backs off a little bit. So
but that's what I'm saying. It's like combined with like the fact that you are getting rid of a very loud voice in the room, right?
Maybe I'd be surprised. Let's put it that way. If he did that. And Curry was just the follower of Titan. So I think Robotino just takes over this. And I'm with Ben. I'm hoping that they focus on trying to help Marvin and doing the best they can.
Well, they have to, otherwise they're dead in the water. You can't do anything at the top of the CBLOL without at least a mediocre AD. You cannot.
So
I'll put it this way. I think that if this roster would have stayed together, like with Titan, if Titan hadn't done what he did, I think that this roster would have gone Swift fourth. I think there would have been infighting. I think it would have been bad news bears, because this stuff never works out the way you think it's going to. Super
Yeah.
teams never work.
Because
especially-
that's the thing about the Los Grandes,
Yes, it
right? It was
Yes,
like
it
the
is.
super team. We were going into it, and it's like, dude,
This-
BRTT on this team's the
this
greatest team of all
was-
time, and then
This is
How-
100% a super
It
team.
was
That
the Dream Pain team from 2021. Except
Exactly.
that
That's
with
exactly-
pressure
it's a super
AD
team.
carry, pressure bot lane.
It's
That's it.
definitely-
It's a super
definitely-
team.
It was
That's
definitely a
exactly
super
what it
team,
was.
to be clear.
And this, I don't think it was going to work. And now,
Viewers,
so now
like,
it's not a
to be-
super team, so now they can win.
no,
Yeah,
it,
so
it
now
still
they're gonna
might
be
go
better.
Swift fourth, but it will be
Yeah.
for different reasons.
Yeah, it'll be Swift fourth
True.
because
Yeah,
sadly
yeah.
that became the new ceiling rather than like they held themselves back to a Swift fourth. So
Yeah.
So ironically, it does seem like this situation has potentially avoided the problem that Dark Knight is worried about, but is just another problem that will maybe unite them under Bren's banner. So we
knows?
shall see. The second question that he had was, is Lev the biggest punching bag this time, or are Fluxu and Low still fighting for that
Probably.
position? Fluxu, I would argue, is not fighting for that position anymore. I think Fluxu has elevated themselves at least above the punching bag expectation. They might still end up as a punching bag, but I think with this roster, I don't expect them to be the most likely punching bag. I think Loss and Leviathan are going to be contesting that one. So do we think Lev is the bit? We do have Lev at the bottom, so I guess yes. I guess yes is the answer.
I mean, I don't think they're like punching. Like I think they'll still be
No,
like the bottom
I think
four.
if
I think
you're-
can compete against each other, so it won't be like what we saw with Fluxu W7 last year.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, but I think like the thing is about Leviathan is like where Fluxu's W7M. They like that's the thing. Notice the question wasn't is Fluxu W7M still the punching bag. They're asking
Lev.
is Lev the
They
biggest
led with
punching
Lev.
bag because Fluxu W7M was so bad that they weren't even like relevant to the
It's
conversation.
not even a punching bag at that point. You
Right?
don't get any value out
So
of punching
amongst
it.
our
With
bottom
the
teams,
format.
who is just getting
Yeah.
socked around for fun? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's Lev.
I don't
Yeah.
think, I don't know. Like I said before, I think Leviathan will be the dark horse team. If there is like a big surprise to me, I'm looking at Leviathan to be it. So because of that, I hesitate to call them a punching bag. If they're a punching bag, they're the type who's going to swing back and take you out when you're not watching.
Yeah.
They're
would,
the heavy. It's like watching tiny people use the heavy bag for the first time.
Yeah.
I'd expect Los to be. I'd put money on Los to be a dark horse over Lev. But again, this is all kind of speculation at this point. Like it's hard to really speak
I
definitely.
was
Conjecture.
homerism.
And ironically, I kind of feel like potentially Fluxu and Loud might end up more stuck where they are and can move less. Loud maybe can because of like the quality inputs there, but I think like Fluxu can't go up or down, whereas like Loss can go up and down and Lev can go up and down. But we'll see if that is borne out. Lunar Day, of course, asks which game mechanics or removals are you most looking forward to in season 26, which to remind everyone is this season because of the way they name seasons. It's not like 10 years from now. So what's everyone's favorite, I guess, like new season change, I guess, potentially? What's the new favorite mechanic or removal of a mechanic?
Well, okay.
I like the 7-item ADC because it might finally make them shut up.
We literally gave you a free Infinity Edge slot on top of anything else you were doing. Like, just
But
are
you
you
didn't give
okay
it to us
now?
for free. We still got to earn the money for the IE.
Oh, we're still gonna farm ways
listen,
for it. It's
on-
bullshit.
On a personal level, I love being able to like people talk about support like it's this nothing change. Like, oh, cool, you get a slot for your control
awards.
bro. Do you know how awesome that is?
Dude,
like, it
I
plays control
actually
awards all
love
game.
that as well. It's very basic.
It genuinely might be of the role changes. I think it's the most like high level competitive change. Because you get to a stage where everyone's full build and you lose vision control because you just can't place control words anymore. Because like the only guy who's ever going to buy them is your support. And then you have to choose between being able to place vision or having an item. And now you don't have to make that choice. And so like you're actually not just going to have to coin flip fights anymore. Like you're going to be able to place consistent good vision.
Yeah.
And I think that genuinely has like a big competitive change. So that's like I love that.
I think
And
that's
I'm a
very
support
cool.
main, so I'm biased.
That is a great call.
I mean,
I love the idea of not like just locking supports out of finishing their builds ever because they have to keep ward space or whatever. Like you can just, you're allowed to complete, even if you're building support items, you know, or if you're playing LeBlanc support and you want to build full AP, you can build a full AP build and you still have wards because you're a support and the support gets wards and that's your treat for being a support, right? If you go 55 minutes, if I go 55 minutes, I want to finish my Xerath build. Like I want to finish all of my items in my 55-minute Xerath support game and have wards. And I think that feels great. I think that feels great for support. So I think it's a great call.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been mixed feelings about that one because I do agree strategically it's fantastic. from a viewer perspective, I'm gonna miss some of those blind fights where they just didn't have enough vision, and so people turned the corner into a fight.
Yeah, they're just five manning into a brush, like.
Yep.
If anyone catches me,
you just gotta pray.
Yeah, so no, but I think that is a good change. For me, I think the biggest one was the changes to like getting rid of Atakan and like the timing of fights, so that we're not locked into only team fights anymore. Yeah, like it was fun at first, but entire year of it kind of got a bit sick of it. I love the fact that now unlocks split pushing as a potential thing, sieging as a potential thing, and it's not just like at timers show up to fight basically. Yeah. Them making the late game objectives harder as well kind of plays into that, because now more potential for throws, gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And also the fights are harder. Like it was getting to the point where I felt like the Elder or the late Dragons, not even Elder, it was just an appointment to show up. That's it. Like the dragon itself kind of didn't matter, and it was just done to the smite fight. It didn't influence the fights, but if you increase the damage and how hard it is to take these things, then we see more like Baron Shred. Atakan's gone, but the old like Atakan Shred, and higher chance for teams to flip, because whichever team started it needs to actually make a proper decision. What do we finish first, instead of trying to 2-time at the same time?
That's what I liked about Atakan, was like it was such a difficult fight. He did so much damage, and like he had so much health and would regen so fast that you had to like really think, like, are we sure we want to do this?
It felt like a lot of times, which is what it should be.
And then nobody did, and then they threw every time, right? Because they were like,
you would show up and be like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then the second team to show up would be like, oh, you have like no resistances, and we just kill you. But if you took Atakan, it was such a big win con, and so like I was sad to see Atakan go, but because they're making the other epic monsters stronger, like as compensation, I think we will still get to see that like late game, like genuine decision making of like, is it worth it to take a Baron here and lose all our health
and the shred and everything? Like, I did find it pretty, as much as it kind of becomes a bit torturous sometimes in your solo queue game, when like your jungle wants to start Atakan, your mid laner doesn't want to, your top laner doesn't care, your support wants to start it, and your AD carry doesn't want to start it, and everyone's just like trying to like drag the team to their choice, and Atakan is just hitting everyone the whole time, and you're like, oh my god, it was so funny, man. Like it freaked people out so much. And hopefully Baron, I want it to have a similar kind of impact in the, if we're gonna take it, this needs to be important, and we need to think and try to take that. And they tried to make it like do more damage. Baron even like do more damage and health, I think, last season as well. I think it just didn't really end up sticking and making it feel harder. I think they did make it harder somehow, but it didn't really feel that way. I don't know. So hopefully this one has more of like, you can actually feel it in the game this time. 404, any enjoyed or hated removals or enjoyed mechanics?
No, I think everyone brought up good points. I really do think like it's like, I'm fascinated to see the Twitter discourse of if AD carries still think they're weak, because really, in my most cynical, I'm famously not a cynical person, by the way, but if I was to play the cynic card, I think the only thing that would make AD carries happy is the removal of crowd control.
Yeah, to be honest,
I don't think this is going to be enough.
Yeah, removal
that
of
would
the
not make me very happy.
Class. Yeah.
Exactly.
So then they complain about mobility creep at that point.
Oh no!
Well, they're like, was the auto spacing around the team fight, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Wazzy actually. Are you guys excited for that?
Because it's not gone into ranked fully yet. It's on normal queues, I think, and they're probably going to release it into ranked pretty quickly because they seem like they're happy with it. So we've not yet been treated. But
I don't play any character at any level that WASD is going to is going to be just such a suboptimal choice that I'm throwing the game by not playing it. I feel like it's like really good on like Zeri and Twitch, and then like beyond that, like your mileage may vary.
I want to play some WASD Syndra, man. Some no delay animation WASD
literally
Syndra.
orb walking.
Literally orb walking. Exactly. That's what I'm excited
But like I play like Nautilus, dude. I want to be walking where my mouse is.
Yeah. I want to
no fade away, just throw hook backwards while walking away. Should I do?
No, perhaps not. I think for me, I kind of mentioned it earlier. I think my favorite part is I do like the unique prize for each role. As I said, I don't really like the way you get there a lot of the time. I think they've definitely botched the quest aspect. But the prize where if you pick top lane, you get a free TP at this point and you get like the level cap. Or like whether the prizes are correct or correctly balanced, separate issue. But I like that they're giving each role, if you queue up for that role and you like select that role, you can swap the role still. You select that role in Champ Select, so you can get this specific perk that you want to add on to your champion and your strategy, whatever. I think that's neat. I think it's cool, and I think
it frees up more parts of the game, especially the TP thing.
Yeah, dude, like just the TP lock around certain things, like
it's huge.
I really like having that option.
Ban recall plus home guards, then plus a free TP in the top lane means you're not going to see a guaranteed 4 teleports per game unless someone's running like a weird Gwen or Aatrox build. Like,
yeah, so I think that's cool. I like the core philosophy, and it's just going to be kind of as you'd said before. Like they'll work it out. They'll work out the kinks. They'll get it into a good space. I believe that they probably will, and then it's going to be really cool. So I think that's nice. That's a nice point for us to end on, chaps. Thank you. It has been a cool 2.5 hours, as we all knew it was going to be. Thank you, everybody who submitted questions. Thank you, everybody, for watching. The CBLOL Cup starts on, is it the 17th?
17th.
17th.
Yep.
Runs for
This
7
Saturday.
days or something. 7 weeks, sorry.
7 weeks. 7 weeks.
7 weeks. So a nice tight CBLOL Cup for a split into first stand, and we will see how our tier list holds up. We will be back at the usual place with the old branding in some form on those dates. So look out for that, and there will be announcements. We will be going live on Twitch. There will be announcements in the Discord. If you want to join the community Discord, you can submit questions to talk about the upcoming split of CBLOL. We are always happy to chat and have questions from everyone in there. RMC?
Oh, one big announcement. Our channel is back to twitch.tv/CBLOL_English.
Yes. We couldn't get the just the full anglicized version without an underscore, which we snuck into from LTA Seoul, which was kind of nice for a bit, but we have had to go back to
CBLOL English. That's still technically like the dead Riot channel from
the official Riot channel still exists, and we can't just have that. So
I mean, we were there for a while, but that's not the one that's going to be used. So right now, that is still the channel. So underscore English.
Yeah, CBLOL_English on twitch.tv. We hope to see you all there. Other than that, enjoy your time. We'll see you on the next split of CBLOL. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Bye.